That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Arvanauts and all, to another stream of Adventures of Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures, as we continue our official campaign, this one right here, Wilderland Adventures, sponsored, of course, by the company Cubicle 7, and I'm going to talk a little more about Cubicle 7 because we have something coming from them for today. But before we get to that, I want to thank everyone for being here, as always. Welcome all. And I am your host, Arvin Elleron, and Dungeon Master, Lore Master, I should say, for the adventure today, as we continue to see if the party can get themselves out of a rather sticky situation. We will see if they're able to do that. But before we get there, I do want to thank everyone for being here and remind everyone about the ways to support the stream. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow the stream. That would be super helpful. Please make sure to check out the YouTube with !ArvTube. You can see all the past broadcasts of this particular campaign, all of the broadcasts of everything I've ever done on the channel, but the past broadcast of this campaign is saved in its own playlist, Adventures on Middle-earth, if you want to get caught up on stuff. If you want to check out the Steam group so you can be notified about the stream when it goes live in some way other than Twitch or Twitter, that's !Steam group. That's also where people hang out in between streams. We also do that on our Discord channel, which is !Discord, so you should check that out as well. And if you're willing to support the stream on another level and you're willing to, for example, inspire the players, then the way to do that is to check it out by !Arvtreon, my Patreon right below there, which is sitting at $3.95, almost back up to 400. I'd love to get back over 400 if we could, because we've got cool things that will happen for the channel and cool things for you individually. You can get epic character backgrounds written by yours truly. You can get copies of my band's one of my band's first couple of albums. You can get a poem, an epic poem written about you as well. So there's lots of different things, and you can get the ability to inspire the players at the $10 and $20 levels. So that is all stuff that you can do to help the players, not just in this campaign, but in all the D&D campaigns that we do here. And I do 3 other sessions a month on this channel, not just the 2 Middle-earth sessions that we do. So there's the deal with that. Today, we have Wilderland Adventures, which we will be continuing. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be back over to GOG.com, where I'll be doing my Pen and Pixel show and continuing my playthrough of Vaporum, which I've been having a great time doing. I've really been enjoying that game. So I'm going to be doing more of it as time goes as well. And yes, I want to thank in particular, so Kilobyte is responsible for the intro video part of things. So much love to Kilobyte for all the work he's done. He also did the overlay that you guys are about to see. And I also want to thank Chronowolf. My good friend Matt has just tweaked it, as you can see, to incorporate our newest player, Amal Elmatar. So she was now included in there. And I'm going to find out when I go over there whether Amal knows that could actually hear the fact that her name was being spoken by a chorus. So a whole choir has spoken her name. We were just talking about name pronunciations earlier today. So anyway, that was happening. And last but certainly not least, since I see him in chat, I do also want to thank Fender Saxby, because Fender Saxby was responsible for helping us get the character sheets up onto Roll20 to begin with, and actually putting in some of the monster tokens and things like that, which was super helpful, and the maps as well, and also helped Amal get her character up and running. So thank you, Fender, so much for the help and the assistance. I really do appreciate it. It's like having my own personal like Roll20 Tolkien expert. So I really, it's like Saad is my Roll20 expert in other D&D things, and then Fender's my Tolkien Roll20 expert. So thanks, Fender. I appreciate that. Okay, with that said, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of, where are you? Let me get rid of this thing that I saw just a second ago. Where's my image? I lost my image. I have so many things on this main screen. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. And let me turn on that. There we go. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. I hope everyone's doing well. Why is my webcam acting that way? My webcam is acting really oddly. It is autofocusing when it shouldn't be. And, okay, so let's not autofocus anymore. Thank you. Let's not auto do that anymore. Let's not do low light compensation anymore. Let's not do any of that, because I didn't ask you to. So thanks. Anyway, hi everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome. And yes, I am wearing, it's a little cold, so I am wearing my overshirt. But today underneath, I have got one of my favorite shirts, which is which is my Carpe Diem. Seize the Dungeon Master. There we go. Carpe Diem. Seize the Dungeon Master shirt. So I'm wearing that today, along with my Steelers hat, to approve of the coolest thing in D&D, which is being the Dungeon Master, and then the coolest thing in football, which is being a Steelers fan. So that's what I'm about. But that said, and I really am not going to spend all this time, I promise, focusing on that. Okay. Then I just need to fix that. I'm sorry. My webcam this is a new webcam and I like it, but it does take a little bit of a adjustment process that for some reason I thought was already being done. And so I was a little confused about that. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't know why it did that. Hold on a second. It messed up. It messed up. Wait, what is it going on? Why is it doing that? Hold on. Wait, just a second. Sorry. Really random. I don't know why it's doing that. I apologize. I can't do it like that. Hold on a second. Everyone in the chat's going to be like, what are you doing? What's going on? There we go. Okay. That's a little better, I think. It should be better. It should be better. Okay. That's not quite better. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Stop touching things. I know. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it's doing this. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to fix this. I want to make my people wait any longer than they've already waited, but I don't know why it's doing that. It should not be doing that at all. That's not what it's supposed to be doing. It was not at all the idea of what we're supposed to be doing. The truth is that the reality is if Logitech would just get their would just wake up. Basically, if Logitech would just wake up and would just get like actual drivers. Okay, that's better. If they would just get the actual drivers in place, this would not be a problem. Like, honestly, this is all because Logitech refuses to use actual drivers. They make good cameras and crappy drivers, and that's what it comes down to. So, anyway. That's a little better. I'll keep working on it. But so I am now going to unmute myself so they can hear that I'm ready to go after wasting 5 minutes trying to get that configured. And then I'm going to unmute them. And then I am, with no further ado, going to move over them like this. And there we are. We're officially here. Hi, everyone. I apologize for my delay in getting back to you.
Well, one day I'll forgive you.
Yeah, no.
Quite all right. It was very entertaining.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad somebody was entertained by it. That's good. Anyway, all right. Everything is now sort of functional. And with all that said, I'm going to move down to welcome my party. There are 3 out of the 4 of us today. We'll talk about the missing person when we get to them. But first, I'm going to go down to Trendane, who's always got some particular pose that he's got. And this time, it is the I've fallen asleep waiting for Arv to fix his camera. So Tren, I got yeah, exactly.
I genuinely thought that was frozen for a second. I was like, oh, I guess
I was doing my best to breathe very, very slowly.
That was good. That was very impressive. So hi, Tren. How's life and the universe, etc., sir? How you doing?
I'm gonna have to catch up now. Okay, I'm
on
almost
breathing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you breathe that slowly and that shallowly, it's like that. Just the anxiety. It's like I'm suffocating. No, you're not. Just calm down.
It's good. I kicked it down to you when we did, or we'd be down 2 people right now. Just
I know.
slumped over. Yeah.
You'd have been like, and Trendane, and instead of going football practice, it's just nothing would have happened.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of PCs tonight.
Yeah. Exactly. It's okay. I trust you. So yeah, hi. I'm Trent Sparks. I'm a professional voice actor person and audiobook narrator kind of guy, doohickey thing. And I'm currently working, well, not currently, because obviously I'm here, but working on the BattleTech novel, Embers of War. And I will very shortly thereafter be working on the Shadowrun novel, Fire and Frost, Frost and Fire, one of the 2. I can never remember which one comes first, the Frost or the Fire. But it's okay. It's the same way with Beyond Skyrim. Is it elsewhere Sugar and Blood or Blood and Sugar? I can never remember that either. So it's at least I'm consistent. What were you saying, Will? What?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to mix them up.
But that's alphabetical, so it makes sense.
Mm.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not even close. Because we all were like, stop. We're like, is this true?
I almost had it. It was so cool. And then
yeah, very, very cool. And you're going to see, you're going to get a chance to hear and see Trendane doing a lot of projects. I have a feeling like 2018 is going to be the year of Trendane. That's what I predict. I think it's going to be, it's going to be the year of Trend, I believe.
I would much rather it be the year of, setting the chess pieces in place to solve all of our governmental problems in this country.
Yes, no question about that. I am with you 100% on that score.
I will sacrifice my glory and fame for that.
Yes, I totally agree. Hopefully we can get both, and we'll see about that. But in the meantime, speaking of glory and fame, I'd like to head down to the Michael Jackson hospital wing video brought to you by Will. Hi, Will. How are you? And it is nice that you've joined us from the glory of heaven. So thank you from your busy schedule taking time
you're welcome.
to hang out with us.
Now I'm like super blown out.
I mean,
follow your own advice and stop touching.
Right? Yeah. Heal or know thyself.
Yeah. No. I am from. Oh dear.
See?
Yeah. What have I done? Yeah, I'm doing well. I am still in Canada for a couple of days more, and streaming from the void of either heaven or hell. I'm not sure, really, just a white room. It's pretty scary. And I'll be playing the Dunedain Ranger, whose name is Robar Staunton. And yeah, he's a grumpy old man, really, despite being not very old, but he's older than he's older than his craggy face and Liam Neeson style attitude would tell, really. Yeah.
It's good stuff. And I look forward to seeing what Robar is about to do with actually both you and Tawny Bear with a very difficult situation. That's
and I'm also playing.
Yes.
I'm also Terry Toons. I am a professional cartoonist.
Oh, you got the beard going.
I hear no accent, sir.
I have a Patreon. Super offensive.
Totally convincing, yeah.
I have a Patreon.
I have a Patreon as Terry Toons that you can pledge to. I am the single greatest artist
on this channel.
and on this platform is Twitch. So
yes,
if you're looking for an artist, then you found him.
Yes, this is true. And he is going to be playing the role of Terry Toons and Inga today because you can see Inga's token is holding the spot for Terry Toons. Terry had some stuff that she had to get done and accomplished and came up sort of last minute. And so she is very, very sorry because she was really excited to play. And I decided ultimately that we should go ahead and play because next week everyone has got various things that they're doing and we're going to be playing after that again. So rather than skipping on this one session, we might as well have a chance to continue this, to resolve this sticky situation, cliffhanger, feast hanger, as it were, that these people are stuck in. So, but yes, you should definitely check out Terry. Terry, of course, plays with us here and also does the Fighting Fantasy live illustrations with me on this channel. And there may be other stuff going on with Terry that I can't talk about yet that this channel in particular will be interested in, he said mysteriously, but I can say no more about that as of yet. But yes, you definitely should be checking out her Patreon and the like. And Terry, much love and hope everything's going okay on your end from all of us. And with that said, I bring us down to our newest member who is fighting through construction of various kinds, but has somehow managed to survive it. And that, of course, is Amal. Hello, Amal. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am fine.
Greg?
How I'm doing just great.
It's like family Christmas for me.
Exactly. We're all doing great. But yeah, everything is fine. How's life in the universe for you? Are you coming to the end of? Or you're not quite at the end of term, but you're close,
this
right?
is like the middle slog of term, basically.
Okay.
This is when all the students have their finals and exams and everything, and I mean. Wait, what?
Not
what?
that kind. Not carrying a child to term.
That's
Jesus,
what I
dude,
thought. I mean, I was like, what? I didn't know that.
I buried the lead, right? Like,
I know you only see me from like the shoulders up and stuff. But no.
I thought you were talking in public office. I was like, okay.
Okay, so
right.
none of us were on the same level. Okay. Fine, look, we understand. Okay, for the academics here, we get it. All right, and
exactly.
Yeah.
I am in fact in a university where I am a writing tutor for undergraduate students. So this is usually the time of year when everyone is either hunkered down finishing essays or scrambling madly trying to get help with them and stuff. So that's usually what I'm doing here. I am a writer. I won the Hugo Award this year. I was very excited
did.
for that. Yes, I did.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
did.
I decided I made a deliberate decision to no longer be shy about saying.
No. Do not be shy about that.
No.
No.
I won the Hugo Award.
Oh dear God! What? I just got a feedback. I think from your mic. Amal, maybe. Yeah. Wait a second. Hold on a second. You're gonna have to. Can you restart, Amal, and come back because I think it's coming from your end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Your ears. I don't know what's going on.
I got showing up on and
I have no idea what's going on. We're taking over. Wow. I don't know what's going on or how to fix it. I'm gonna try a new Zoom link. I will contact you guys in Discord. What the flip is that? I am really sorry. I have no idea what's going on. That is weird. I have no idea what to say about that. That's really, 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 really odd. Sorry. Sorry about that. I'm restarting Zoom right now. I have no idea what the hell is going on there. Okay. Test. Test, 1 sec here. Beam me up. Yeah, I know. Trent, can you hear me okay? Trent, can you hear me?
I hear you.
You can hear me, okay. And you don't hear that horrible sound.
No, that.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I have no idea what that is. That literally, it's not a loose wire. It was only Zoom, and I don't know why it was doing
Okay.
Find the one.
But it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. I thought it was you only because I thought it was coming from your end, and then I just put it together with construction, and I figured.
Yeah.
But anyway, so sorry. I apologize. I don't know what that's. Yeah, I know Zoom is usually well behaved. Someone doesn't want us to finish this adventure. No, but yeah. So sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so so we were talking about being on the term. We were talking about different meanings of term. We were talking about writing terms. So you're in the middle of the slog, is what you were saying.
Yeah, it's the middle of the slog. It's nearly out to the other side though. So not too bad. Otherwise, there's a bunch of cool festival stuff going on right now. There's something called the Republic of Childhood that is part of the Ottawa International Writers Festival. So they've had a couple of events that I've been taking part in. So I was running writing workshops for 8th graders basically for a few weeks before before I went traveling a lot of October. And they had a showcase for the work that they did in that workshop yesterday, which was really, really cool. And then tonight, this afternoon, first, I'm going to be on CBC for like a brief interview on All in a Day about this diversity panel that I'm on later on tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But it's also under the auspices of that same festival. Anyways, other than that, I'm a writer. I write short fiction and criticism.
Won a Hugo. That's what you were talking about.
And I won a Hugo. Yeah.
Let me make sure we're clear about that.
I know. I said I won a Hugo, and then everything went wrong. So
that's what it was. That was every other Hugo nominee. They're just like, yeah.
What I was going to say as well, I mean, this is super early days, but I kind of want to start mentioning it from now. Max Gladstone and I co-wrote a novella.
It's my friend Ursula Vernon. No, you won't talk about it.
I know Ursula. Oh God, I love Ursula so much. She's been a tree lately as well, which has been very amusing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no, I wanted to briefly mention that Max Gladstone and I.
I'm sorry, it's doing it again. I have no idea what this is. I am absolutely at a loss. Okay, I just muted Zoom. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I have no idea what this is doing. Okay, I just muted Zoom, so I can't hear you guys, but chat doesn't have to have its ears blown out. I can't hear you. I can see you motioning at me, but I can't hear you. Because I just muted you. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I don't know how to correct it either. Let me try muting them separately. I'm gonna unmute guys, watch your ears in chat. I'm gonna unmute Zoom for a second. Okay. Test. Can anyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I hear you guys. So that's good. Tren, can you hear me? All right, Tren is not speaking yet. So
when it happened, the yellow bar was on Tren, which should suggest that maybe.
I think maybe this is on Tren. Yeah, I'm guessing because
I've never known. I've used Zoom every day for 2 years. I've never heard it make that sound. It sounds like a wire. You know, it sounds like a.
It does, yeah, but it's definitely this is not on my end. I'm pretty sure this is just coming through Zoom. So, yeah, Tren, I'm guessing there's some kind of weird feedback loop happening on your end, is my guess, but I don't know. I don't hear it right now, but it's because I can't hear you. Yeah. So, yeah, if need be, we can do Discord talk and video. Yes, if we have to, we'll do that. But that's going to require video capture and all that, and I'd rather not recapture if I can avoid it. But yes,
we said Hugo Award again. Yeah, fucking hell.
I know. God, it was my fault.
That was the real problem.
I just keep on doing something.
They've got a button. You know, they're watching.
Tren, I hear you talking now. Typing now. I think.
He says he can't hear us at all.
Okay.
So I think he must be having audio problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
This is the part where we're all relieved. We're like, well, as long as it's not me, I'm glad I'm not that guy. Yeah, if need be, we'll switch over to Discord video if I have to. But again, I'd rather not do that. But anyway, yeah. So you were saying with Max Gladstone. I swear to God, we'll get through this announcement.
It's okay. I was going to say that Max, who's the author of the craft sequence.
Very good author, Max.
He's an amazing author. I love those books. So he and I co-wrote a novella together that is coming out from Saga Press in quite a ways from now in 2019. But it's called "This Is How You Lose the Time War," and it's really cool. And I just want people to start thinking about looking out for it for when it comes out, because I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it's super cool. And it also looks like they're going to really push it for you and Max, which I think is great. Just really hope so. The impression I get is that they're really into it. So yeah, no, that's excellent. But both I've had both Amal and Max on Speculate. Before, actually, Amal was on the first ever episode of Speculate.
Yes, I was.
With Saladin Ahmed.
And on the ground floor.
Yeah, on the ground floor, yeah. And so, but we've had Max on before as well. And we've had it, actually, oddly, we had a chance to talk to him about stuff relating to Serial Box, which Mike Underwood is now doing also in his own way. So that's because 3 people are here the whole time. Okay, Tren is back, but...
The question is, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I still can't hear you.
Oh okay.
No. So there is some kind of audio thing. Yeah, let's see. Let me type in, yes, we can hear.
Reminded of scene in the beginning of Ghostbusters. The line is, the effect, I'll tell you what the effect is, it's pissing me off. Yeah.
Let's see.
Is there a loose? I think it's a loose wire, because, I mean, does this have to be plugged in for me to be able to hear you? Because if that's the case, I mean, probably part of it.
Has he turned it on? That's the question. Off and on again.
Test, check, test, check. Let me see if we can.
And I presume that I still can't hear you guys.
It doesn't seem like he can hear us. Let me.
You don't want to have to restart my computer for this.
That might be what
you
have to do.
Just finished that announcement you were trying to get through so many times over. Of course, yeah. So now everybody's waiting on me.
I'll make an announcement. There is no announcement. Wait, what can we talk about in the meantime?
I mean, I think there's a few things we can chat about while Trent is restarting.
When are we next doing Masters of the Dungeon?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that, Will, because we are actually doing Masters of the Dungeon, which is the Dungeon Master show with myself, Will, Askren, and Dave from the Digital DM. We do that once a month. It's about all things dungeon mastering and D&D related, and that is coming on Friday, this Friday. So after Thanksgiving, when you guys are, for those of you in the States, for those of you in Canada, for some reason you get Thanksgiving over with early for some reason. God knows why. We like to give thanks later. Okay, like we in America like to wait as long as possible to be grateful for anything. So,
and yet sometimes we put up our decorations way ahead of schedule.
Can you now hear me? Does that mean?
Yes.
Yeah. That was good. I'm like, either that was a brilliant improv on your part, or you can actually do it again.
We'll go with brilliant improv.
What did you do? Did you figure out what to do to fix it, or no?
The moment that Amal mentioned the first time, the Hugo thing, something happened and Zoom said, "Hey, we're now using this sound output." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, that can't be right. And then everybody in chat starts screaming about their ears. I'm like, that can't be me. What is going on? And so we rejoined the meeting, and then I couldn't hear you guys, and you guys couldn't hear me. I could see you. I was talking to you, and nobody. I was like, "Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me." And everybody keeps talking, and I'm like,
You're like, God damn it.
And so I'm going through this laundry list of sound inputs that are listed that I don't have.
The word Hugo secretly triggers. Like,
don't say it.
Oh no!
So then I get to the point where
this explains so much about my experience in working towards a Hugo. No wonder I haven't landed one myself.
So
it was basically Sauron.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically Sauron.
Speak his name. But it got to a point where I realized that I was listening to the stream, and so it was delayed, and Amal was mentioning something. I want a Hugo, and I was like, so did my friend Ursula Vernon. And then I see on the thing, you start reacting, and I'm like, wait, did she hear me? I'm like,
I did.
Wait a minute, no, I'm listening to the stream. That can't be what. Oh, so I had no idea what you were reacting to, because I was like, I'm like talking about something that was like 2 minutes ago.
Well, we're good. We're back in. We've managed to do all our announcements. But yes, Masters of the Dungeon will be on Friday. I think we were all saying afterwards that we had such a good time. We actually expanded the time of the show, because last month we did 90 minutes. And we're like, we really should do 2 hours. So we're doing 2 hours on Friday. And so you folks should stop by if you were interested in that. And yes, also I do want to mention, I will confirm this with these folks, but if you get to the end of this and your ears have somehow recovered from the incidents of several minutes ago, and you're like, man, where can I get even more Adventures in Middle-earth? I'm glad you asked, because 2 weeks from now we will be, hopefully, again, I will confirm this with Terry, but we will be recommencing again and doing our 2 sessions in December. So we are going to get a lot more of these folks. And and I have to tell you guys, I was at PAX Unplugged this weekend for one day on Saturday. I went down and I met up with our friend John Helfers, Tren, who of course plays with us in the D&D Infinity Beyond group, and he works for Catalyst. He's also Tren's boss doing this stuff with the audio with Shadowrun, etc. Anyway, while I was there, I went over and I took a look at the Cubicle 7 booth, and I spoke to them a little bit, and I found out about the release of, it's not yet released in physical form, but the release of the Mirkwood adventure campaign, which is this massive campaign from the One Ring. There was originally One Ring that was converted. So I went and immediately, because anytime Cubicle 7 does anything Tolkien, I just shove all my money in their face, because this is, And so I went over there and I pre-ordered it and immediately got the PDF of the Mirkwood campaign. Here's the cool part. It takes you literally from where you guys will end when you're done overall with Wilderland Adventures, all the way up to level 15 of the Tolkien campaign. So and even a little bit above that, probably 16. So all that stuff, Will, we were talking about with Robar about it's Bane of Shadow and all that stuff. That, and I'm telling you, some of the, oh my God, Dol Guldur and just oh man, it is so, I'm so excited. So that is
I'll
a
be
very
a better healer than why really doesn't flow well if I can't. Elrond.
Elrond, yeah. No, I mean no joke. So I'm very excited about that. The Mirkwood campaign. I have the PDF also. Thank you so much, Fender. But I actually did pre-order it like insta-buy, and so yeah. And obviously we don't have to worry about that. We got a lot of Wilderland adventures to do yet. But I just wanted to let you know that there is a long-term plan that allows you to get even higher levels, which is really neat because I can't even imagine what a high level to. This is assuming you all survive the next 2 hours, by the way. But let's just say that you do. We'll find out. So anyway, last announcement that I swear we'll get started after the stream is over and I let these folks go. I do want to let everybody know that thanks to Cubicle 7, we were supposed to do this last week, but I forgot. We are going to be doing, in honor of Amal's arrival as a player, we are doing a giveaway of the Lore Master's Guide and the Player's Guide. So I have a copy of each of those for free, which I will give away to people in chat, thanks courtesy of Cubicle 7. So thank you to Cubicle 7, which sponsors us, and thank you to them for letting us do this again. And yeah, so if you guys want a copy of this and you're like, wow, how can I do this? You will get a chance to if you stick around for the end of the stream. Now, with that said, let us actually get into playing and not just chit-chatting, although I love that too. So, when we last left our heroes, as we bring ourselves into the mix, when we last left our heroes, they had found successfully Dindy Brandybuck, the one that they had been searching for and who had been kidnapped after the attack upon the hill fort by, as it turns out, goblins. With a rather eventful journey down into the caves and caverns, in which we almost lost our Dunedain wanderer to the waterfalls below, but they did manage to survive. They managed to get to this larger area of goblin caverns where they encountered two extraordinarily drunk orc soldiers. They dispatched them before the orcs could raise the alarm, and as they entered the next room, they found Dindy Brandybuck, who had been set to work preparing food for a goblin feast, which is going on in celebration of several raids they've launched on human and other settlements in the Overland. So the party decided that they would make this happen. They would be a part of this, but they would add something to the mix. And so they added this incredibly hot and not quite poisonous, but pretty bad spice to the mix, added it to this stew, and then Inga, who had disguised herself as an orc, went to actually deliver this. When she went down into this larger room, she met up with the hundreds of goblins sitting around the tables and trying to have what looks like it might be a fancy meal, but where goblins are concerned, it sort of ends up devolving a little bit into Animal House anyway. And so they were spending time with each other, consuming food and so forth, and the drunk orc chieftain stumbled down from his chair at the head of the table and basically asked Inga to make a toast. She did so, and then as he turned around to start eating the food that she had brought, Inga thought she would take that opportunity to grab the key to the chain which is locking Dindy, and grabbed it from his belt. Unfortunately, when she grabbed it from his belt, it basically pulled the orc chieftain back. And so as we ended our last session, the orc chieftain turned to find Inga holding the key, which is attached to the belt, and everyone else in the room staring at Inga. And so that is where we begin. And controlling Inga today, again, we'll be coordinating this today. And actually, speaking of that, let me see. I actually don't know if I can have you control. I don't know if I'm able to have it because it's determined by character settings. Let me do that in never mind. I know how to do this. I can fix that. Inga, you are also controlled by edits. Can be edited and controlled by Robar. Okay, now you can. Now you should be able to control now. Okay. So, yep, I got it. Yeah, thanks, Fender. I just had to remember. Okay, so I now leave it up to you. Inga/Will, in this case. You are being stared at currently by this orc, which looks at you, his mouth agape.
That's right, and I've pretended that my scarf is hiding my beard or something like that, right?
Right, like basically around your, that's right, okay. Like sort of around your face.
Okay. I'm gonna try to remind me. Okay. But say, because now I get to do my Lord of the Rings orc voice. I don't know what you mean. I'm just a humble orc from London. Just like all of us.
I was gonna say all orcs come from there.
Trust me, I've been down the East End.
All Man City fans, I guess.
This is just a goblin beard.
So now I do want to point out the scarf is still around your face because you managed to convince them that Inga managed to convince him that her face was so ugly that he wouldn't want to see her, basically. So
No,
the scarf.
Didn't she say that she would only take it off when everyone had like consumed the spice? Or
Right.
something?
That's right.
Yeah.
But it hadn't happened to this point. So
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
right now, that's correct. Yeah. So he's
I've got
just
a very
staring.
strange condition. I'll only ever take it off when people have eaten spice.
But he's staring at you, holding the key, and he sort of looks down at the key in your hand and looks back up at you. And so he says,
You.
Whoa, and he's just sort of pointing like at you and the key, like incredulously.
And why do I have this key remind me?
This is the key you were trying to get. Inga was trying to get the key this is for Dindy's chain.
Oh,
so
that's right. And she's stolen it. Yeah. Okay. I look at the key. What? This shiny piece of nothing. This is a key for my pet rat, who I keep in a cage at all times.
And he looks at you, and his eyes kind of cross, his bloodshot eyes. He says, "It's on my belt. It's my key." Why am I talking British? You did this to me. This is your fault.
And I say, why do you have the key to my rat on your belt?
And he sort of stares at you, blinking. Make a deception check for me.
Oh my god!
I don't actually have Inga's character sheet, so I can't see what her deception is. I got her token. But...
Oh, yeah. Let me hold on a second. Okay, that should be able to be shown to players. Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
It's now in your journal, so it should be available.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Deception 17.
Wow.
Wow!
So he kind of actually let's see if he does buy into this thing that you just did.
Please no ridiculously good insight check. This guy's drunk, right?
Yeah. I was pretty good, but not good enough. He looks at you and says, "Oh, well, I guess I have your key. That to your rat. What's your rat's name? Is he delicious? Your rat that you
Rat's
have?
name is Robar.
Your rat's name is Robar.
I just call him Rob.
Rob.
Or up. It's because
So-
I'm up. Is
You see a couple of the goblins are sort of talking to each other and looking at you and pointing, and one or two of them, like one of them is rising from his seat, and then the one next to him sort of whispers something to him, he sits back down. It's clearly the chief seems to be going along with you. You're not sure if everyone else is buying into this. So the chief's like, all right, well, then I guess you should have this key. And he takes the key from his belt, and as he's sort of holding it, he doesn't really want to hold it because some part of his brain is obviously arguing with him about the legitimacy of what you're doing. He's kind of like,
I replace his empty hand with a mug of ale.
Okay, and he says, and he grabs the mug of ale. Stares at you.
Drink.
Oh, all right, and he drinks and he says, it's good. I feel this feeling in my what is this? And he starts pointing to his mouth, and then his arms start to flail, and he starts to point wildly at his mouth, and he starts drinking the ale. Then he starts grabbing more ale from the tables, and now you notice that a lot of the goblins sitting at that table, the table right here, where the right here, where the tureen basically was set, they're beginning to also sort of frantically grab at ale, and now you start to hear this noise and confusion. Now the orc sort of stumbles back into the table and is kind of clutching at his throat and then pointing up and what and now there's just sort of a generalized confusion as people start to yell and scream at each other. And you guys in the cavern, back in Dindy's room, River and Tawny Bear and Robar, you hear this just this commotion coming from not too far away down the passageway and out to the southeast. And actually, I'm going to ask you folks what you want to do before I jump back to what Inga's doing. So what are you guys going to do? Dindy looks around at you all nervously.
I think River is going to draw her weapons and keep them in hand to be ready.
Okay.
In case she needs to charge in after helping Inga.
Okay.
Does it sound like the sort of sounds you would expect after sending out the kind of food that we just sent out?
It sounds like increasing chaos, and it doesn't sound like celebratory songs. There seems like a lot of shouting. So if that is sort of what you would have expected, then there's definitely angry shouting happening. And a lot of it, which is getting louder.
Okay. Yeah. So Tony's like, sounds like the spices are working.
And Dindy says, you know, I don't, there's no key yet. There's no key? And he's pointing at this foot. You know, we have to deal with that, right? The key for my foot.
I'm sure Inga will get the key.
And you hear, like, as you say that, like, the volume gets louder.
River is like, oh God, sorry, I don't know how much you can hear this construction, but is it really bad on your end?
It's not really bad. Compared to what we dealt with earlier a few minutes ago, it's just peaceful waters, yeah.
Or my tweets from yesterday.
Yeah.
River is looking uncertainly towards the tunnel, towards that cavern, going, I'm sure Inga will get the key, but tightening her grip on her axe is all the same.
Okay, meanwhile, back in the cavern, Inga, what are you doing as you're beginning to see a bunch of these goblins swarm about you? The orc is sort of not focused on you exactly, but is kind of, still clutching at his throat and reaching for the various wine and ale and so forth. What are you doing?
I'm pulling a Homer Simpson, just slowly backing away.
Go ahead and move your token back as you do that.
Okay.
And Tawny will sort of nudge Dindy and be like, tell them that the second course is ready. Call out.
And Dindy says, the next course is ready. Whenever you are. And you're, there's no response at all. They might not even have heard it. It's pretty loud at this point, so it's possible they didn't hear it here.
That's fine.
Inga, you at this point notice that a lot of the goblins are sort of gathering in, and there are a number of goblins now that have gathered over, let's see, ping it for you, right here. A lot of them are going here. You see them sort of stumbling towards that portion, and also down towards here. You see them stumbling towards there as well. And there are already a couple of guards that were down in this area. So at the moment, the ones at the table are not paying any specific attention, but there's a lot of goblins in between you and the place that you came from.
If they are heading up this way instead of be moving in that direction, I'll try and kind of middle with the group of them as well, and pretend that my mouth is on fire. Like, oh, so hot and spicy. Ooh.
Okay.
Kind of.
Make a deception check for me, please. Thanks, Fender, again for the help.
So far, it's been going so good. 12?
Okay, so let's see how they do. Okay.
And they are a little preoccupied.
They are. Well, and that's, yes, they are indeed preoccupied. They're sort of, they seem to be paying more attention to each other. You get the impression that they're trying to sort of like take up guard positions somehow, or defensive positions, or something, but it's all kind of confused. Half of them have like two shields. One of them has actually a fork in one hand and then like a knife in the other. They're all sort of, stumbling wildly towards the door. And so as you're able to get all the way up to basically here, and they haven't noticed you yet. Now, as you arrive there, Inga, they say, one of them says, no one leaves or until the chief says so. And meanwhile, you hear, which is the chief doing it.
He just said so.
He didn't say anything. He's moaning, you maggot. Now get back in line.
Oh, fine. Oh, my mouth is on fire.
Fine. You know what? At least you have a mouth. You won't when I'm done with you. Now get out of here. No one leaves. What do you put down the pot lid? You see one of them has got a pot lid that they think is a shield, and they drop it and pick it up. This is not a very organized crew, but there are a lot of them.
Okay. I'll kind of hang for a little bit, just.
Okay.
Oh, occasionally I'll make orc sounds.
Okay. Occasionally making orc sounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Back up to here. So it's been a few minutes. The noise has continued to increase, and you still have not seen any sign of Inga where you guys are, where you folks are. But and Dindy is kind of looking around. They haven't come for the meal yet. Should we wait any longer, or perhaps we should just. Maybe panic. I think that's a good idea. Let's all panic. I think if we start with me panicking, that would be great. We're never going to escape. And, he starts to...
River starts to shush Dindy and just say, no, calm down. But she does look towards the other two and say, I think that Inga might have run into some trouble if she's not back yet. And if she's caught there while everyone else is on fire, metaphorically speaking, maybe I should go and try to help.
I suppose so.
All right. I'll just throw together something quick, something like super sweet. Not one of my honey cakes, though.
Okay. Throwing something together, meaning like you trying to. You're not gonna have time to bake anything, obviously. But
No.
you're trying to like just throw together like a stew, like an oatmeal, like a what when you say something sweet, like a
Like
drink.
a super sweetened gruel kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. You guys can do that. While you were doing that, Inga, are you still just sort of hanging tight? You notice that the chief is now starting to maybe recover, or at least is sort of looking around and seems to be kind of, as he groggily comes to, seems to have sobered up a bit and is kind of looking around through the, you don't know for what, but is looking around for something through this mass of goblins and orcs around him. And sort of stumbles over. There's something in the food. Where's that orc that brought the food? And so there's where's that orc that brought the food? And you hear the sort of whispers passing up and down the table. And some of the goblins. Now, the goblins up here are too far away to have heard that in the commotion, but you heard it, Inga, down here. And apparently so did the group of goblins around there.
Get through.
Hide?
Where? Starts looking, sort of stepping around, again, stumbling a little bit, but as I said, a lot more sober than they were before being hit with a river of fire in their mouth. So, hiding. Could you specify?
Well, if we hear them coming, then probably best not to be in the cooking room, right?
Right. Well, this is you,
Inga.
Inga, though, that's hearing this.
Oh,
Robar,
sorry.
This is
Yeah.
Inga. Yeah, sorry. This is Inga hearing this, not
Sorry.
Robar. Robar, you don't
Just
hear any of
waking.
that. Yeah. This is
Just
Inga.
waking up. I'm like, yeah, where is that guy? Brought that horrible food. And I like pull my scarf up even more.
Okay.
Ooh, so strange. You know, like hood up at this point, so
And are you
Try
staying
that.
where you are?
I mean, there's an exit down by 4 and 1, it looks like, right?
Yes. That actually is fairly empty at the moment, although it is near where the Orc Chieftain is sitting. There are maybe a guard or two down here, but not as many. But there are a lot more. Obviously, there's a lot of goblins, although most of them now seem to be concentrated around the tables. They seem to be starting to pick up, like, weapons and shields and things and kind of, stand up from their seats, etc. So it's a little bit less chaotic in terms of just goblins everywhere. There are still this row of about 4 goblins behind you standing in the passageway right here. But this down here seems to be relatively empty. Down here maybe also seems kind of empty. Most of the exits seem like they're not a lot of attention being paid, except definitely this one has got a fair number of people.
I'm like, oh, what's over here? And I'll start just working my way around this table to try and get down to sort of this area.
Okay. Let's see. When you get to... Show me where you'd want to get to. Do you want to get here? Or are you where are you trying to get to? Okay.
Yeah, that's point.
So, let's see. When you get to... Why don't you stop here? When you stop right there on that square there, yep. I would like you to make a deception check to see if some of the goblins are paying attention as they look around. Actually, I'm sorry. No, I take that back. Don't make a deception check yet. Let me make a check on my own. Okay, yes. Now I want you to make a deception check. I wanted to see if they. I wanted to see if they saw you first, and they did.
11.
So they look in your direction, and they kind of. But they kind of glance over their shoulder, but don't pay a lot of attention to you. So if you wish, you can get further down to here if you want.
Yeah, let's just get out of here, I think.
Okay. Let me show you what you see down here. There is a, and I will get back to the main cavern in just a second. There is a passageway down here. And what it shows here are two images of what would normally be orc guards, but those are not there at the moment. They are sitting in the feast room. So actually, this area up to here looks relatively empty. Now, I do want to point out that there's a couple of torches that allows you to see right to about middle of this corridor, but after that it gets dark again. And you, of course... well, actually, no, you're Inga. I take that back. So you're Inga, so you can see it. Never mind. Forget that. So don't worry about that. But there is a torch, and then it gets dark past there. But that's what you see. The passageway sort of bends to the west here and ends up there somewhere.
The only way is forward at this point, because they're going to kill me if I stay in there.
Okay.
It's so much more pressure when it's not your character, by the way. So.
Yeah. Yep. No pressure at all. I'm sure she'd be fine if you just absolutely kill her by accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry in advance for what I'm about to do, Inga.
All right. We'll head back to you later. Now, in the meantime, this is a couple of minutes on. What are the rest of the crew doing up here with Dindy?
Gosh.
The sound, as I say, is continuing to get a little bit louder, and there is still no sign of Inga.
Okay. So at this point, Tony Bear's made up the sweets.
Yes.
Syrupy mixture. Has Dendy
sort of a caramelized adobo chicken.
Okay. Wow.
Kind of.
But it's made out of rat.
More or less.
So.
Yeah, maybe made out of rat. Okay. Got it.
River is pacing, feeling like it's been too long. What if they've captured her?
I feel like we'd hear a lot of screaming if she'd been captured. Maybe I don't know. Dendy, can you deliver the syrup stuff to them?
Well, I'd be happy to do that, but and he holds up his foot
chained.
with his chain to the wall.
Oh God. Can anyone else dress up as a goblin?
If that armor would have fit me, I would have been the one to go to begin with.
Yeah. To be clear, it's not going to fit me either, right? Because she's a little too tall for a goblin.
A little too tall. I mean, so on Tawny Bear it would look ridiculous. It's possible that River, because actually I don't remember, what did you say your height was?
5'10".
Yeah, no, probably not. It would look like putting on clothes that, like a 10-year-old putting on clothes for a 6-year-old, like it just doesn't, I mean, maybe if they're super drunk.
Or if they shop at Hot Topic, whatever.
Right. Maybe if capris are back in.
We know that there is another branch to this passage, right? Like
Yes.
there's over here.
Yep.
So we know that. So potentially okay.
I think you're what you're thinking is right, River. We can go down the way that Inga went, but maybe there's another way that we can meet up and and find her.
Yeah.
Better than just sitting here doing nothing.
Exactly. It sounded like everyone everyone had been concentrated in that grand room, and if we went around the back instead, then maybe we could find an alternate way in there, or at least learn something.
Yeah.
So I can go and do that. And
Okay, I'll come with you.
Fantastic. And I mean, since Tawny Bear's gone through the trouble of making the syrup, maybe Dindy could just take it and leave it where he left the other food if anyone wants to come for more. But I feel like we just need to learn something more at this point.
Good idea.
Is someone going to stay with me then? Maybe?
Yes.
He looks back over. Oh, good. All right. That sounds good. I suppose you're used to doing some babysitting, maybe. He looks back up at you. Quick side note for Amal that Tawny Bear has done quite a bit of babysitting in this adventure. Staying behind with people.
River says Stone will stay with you as well.
Oh, good. And Stone kind of presumably walks over or pads over.
Walks over and pads over to Dindy and just sort of sits and stares at him in a way that probably is meant to be reassuring, but probably is definitely not.
Do you notice Dindy slightly shifting to the... Oh, it's a lovely, good dog. He looks back up, but Tawny Bear and the dog. Bear and dog. Okay. All right, then.
Bear on one side, dog on the other, both of them looking at him like...
Exactly. Okay. So you guys are going to stay for that. So he is able to, if you want, he is able to leave the... Nope, that's not it. Sorry. He is able to delete that square that's not clearly accurate. He is able to, that's what I was looking for, leave it about here. The X is marked, which is where you left the gruel before. All right, and then where are the two of you then, Robar and River? Where are you headed?
Are we heading down over here, I think?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so go ahead and move your characters down there. Now, for both of you, as you are not in fact dwarves or elves, as you're going through, you should be aware that under normal circumstances, it would be dark in these passageways, but actually, you see a flickering, fiery glow coming from down the passageway that is leading this way.
Balrog!
Yes, exactly. The goblins guard too greedily and too deep. No, but you do actually see some flickering flame apparently on the side of the walls, or at least firelight.
Okay. Well, River is going to looks to Robar and say, "Shall we just go towards it?"
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So River heads over here first.
All right, as you move farther away, some of the sounds die down, and you're left with just the typical cave sounds. Okay, so the passageway narrows and then opens out into, you can actually smell it before you see it. You smell a kind of sulfurous, ashen kind of smell. And especially Robar knows about this. I don't know that I guess the river would a little bit. I take that back. The river would know about this smell. And that is, it smells very much like what you would expect from a place that is a smithy, deals with forging weapons and armor, because you can actually see a little bit of flickering fire. And sure enough, as you can kind of move around the passageway, you can see what looks like a deserted forge at the moment. There is over here what looks like a kind of fire pit, and there is still flickering fire within it, but there's obviously no hammering of tongs or anything like that, presumably because nobody's in this room, presumably at the feast. But you can see stacked around the sides some tables. You can see some weapons, some crude, clearly goblin-made swords and so forth stacked up. But the thing that's a little bit troubling to you, River, because actually I don't know how far you folks are going in. Do you want to go in farther, or before I describe the rest of this, I should wait?
I think nothing. I'll go in a little farther.
Okay,
Yeah.
So go ahead and place your token more or less where you want to be.
Back here.
All right. Robar, you're right behind? Yeah. So what troubles both of you is that there are a fair bit. This forge looks like it is currently not being used, but it's been used recently. A lot of these things look, in fact, there's a couple of even swords you can see that are sitting in this, the long troughs of water where you would cool down some of these weapons. And there are a number of them stacked against the walls, southwestern wall, northwestern wall. A lot of swords and shields and weaponry. Not just what you would imagine as sort of replacement level. You might have seen this at Woodland Hall River, where you would have a forge going to basically, maintain the armaments that people had. This seems like it's more than maintenance. This seems like collection.
What quality are the swords?
Well, you'd have to get a little closer to see them. From where you are, they look to be pretty lousy goblin make.
Right.
You can already see sort of pock marks in the metal, and presumably, someone like even Ingo would just be like, even though she's not a smith per se, would just be like, this garbage work, type of thing. So yes,
Still,
junky work, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's kind of worrying that they've got so much down here.
It looks like they're preparing for something.
Oh, we thought they were just a random band of goblins out in the wilderness, but it seems like they might be a bit more organized than that. We gotta get Inga out of here and get the news to someone.
We do. I want to know where this leads, but if we needed to create some kind of diversion or to attract the goblins' attention elsewhere, maybe we could do something here. That way we'd be farther away from Dindy and Tawny Bear, and maybe we could... I just feel like we need to draw their attention off somewhere else if we're going to get out of here.
I agree. We should try and find another exit out of here as well. If they block off the entrance back there, then we're trapped.
Exactly. So shall we continue
let's press on
into this room a little bit? Like, come over to here.
Yeah.
Carefully, mind you, like making sure that no one is around.
Yeah, clang.
Yeah.
While they're doing this, by the way, Tawny Bear Stone comes up and sniffs your hand, and then sniffs your pack, which is currently lying on the floor, and seems very interested in the pack in particular. And it strikes you that all of your twice-baked honey cakes are in there.
Yes, they are.
Oh, Stone.
I'm just gonna reach down and hold out a hand like I'm gonna pet him, but I'm gonna wait until he's like, all right, fine, go ahead.
I thought you were gonna be like, then like bop him on the nose, like he'd never touch my thing.
We have a newspaper in here.
Jeez.
I call him Tawny Bear one-handed from now on.
Yes.
Exactly. Hey, what's up, Grant? Yeah, exactly. Why is Will at the gates of heaven? See? I was saying it was either that or he was in a Michael Jackson video. Could you just do the following line? Makes you want to scream. Dun, dun, dun. Can you do that one? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. Okay, let's jump back down to Inga, and then I will head back over to River and Rabar. Ingo, you are continuing to head down a little farther into that room, or what?
Yeah, let's see where this takes us.
Okay. So as you get here, you notice that you've come across a fairly decent-sized room, not nearly as big as the Great Hall, of course, but it seems to be fairly, compared to what you were just in, high quality. There is a 4-poster bed here, which is covered in sheep hides, at least that's what it looks like, and there is a fine shield, which you actually see that is sitting on, or lying on, I should say, this table over here. There's a little chest by this 4-poster bed. And you hear this growling and grumbling, and it's coming from the western side of the room. The bed basically blocks a lot of your view, but somewhere over here you can hear this growling and grumbling. And actually, make a perception check. Let's see how loud you hear it. You can hear it, but let's see how
Dindy. Oh no!
Yeah, exactly.
He's a mimic.
They'll never know. Yeah, Dindy the mimic.
12.
Okay, so you hear, What do you figure it for? I don't know. Time was the chief would tell us everything. Now it's all about everyone else but us. Ah! You know well enough he told us it was gonna be this way. Soon enough we'll get ours, lads. Once he's done forging around with the goblins, our time will come. That's as may be, but in the meantime, what are we supposed to do with ourselves? I didn't come down here to sit here and roll dice and gamble with you lot. Ah, shut your mouth. Time's been up our way when you might have said, thank you for having a nice, relaxed place like we have, instead of having to sit there and do slop like in the old days. In the old days, at least people knew their place. It seems to be a discussion going on among 3 very large, brutish creatures. Probably orcs or maybe hobgoblins, but definitely seems sort of more, guttural and deeper voices than what goblins can typically produce. Also very clearly not drunk. If you're going by the sound of it, it's pretty obvious these guys are sober.
That's bad. And you reckon? I reckon they're just beyond the bed.
Yes, if you had to guess, you would put them right here. And in fact, one of the things that might be helping you is the fact that there's this 4-poster bed has this sort of canopy over it, and there are sort of hides draping down from it. And also, you're a dwarf, and that helps too. If maybe Tawny Bear would be visible, but you're not, at least not at the moment.
Well, I figured they're all just snuggling, laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, love, perhaps we can do... Yeah, exactly.
No, you always want to do that. I don't want any more popcorn. Use that fake butter on it.
Oh, season 2 of Downton Abbey isn't nearly as good.
Telling you, we should watch American Gods.
No, don't do it. Sorry.
I think at this point, because I don't think I can sneak past them. Inga knows that she's not particularly sneaky. I think I'm gonna try and sneak back and go through one of these other side entrances. Back at 1 or 4 maybe.
Okay.
There's 3 orcs. That's not good news.
Okay.
Would I know that they're a little bit more intelligent than goblins? I mean, they're also not drunk, right? So
that's the main thing. They might be a little more intelligent. The big thing is that they're bigger bullies, right? So they're used to pushing goblins around, and goblins can be even more cunning than orcs can. But orcs are sort of... I mean, they have a little bit more command ability because, if anything, they're usually the ones telling goblins what to do, not the other way around. The big thing is that you can tell they are, as opposed to the orc chieftain that I mentioned was clearly drunk, these guys are pretty much clearly not drunk.
All right. Yeah, in that case...
or they hold their liquor much better than the orc chieftain did, one or the other.
Yeah, okay. In that case, I, not wanting to kill Inga, we'll return back up here and reassess the situation and see if I can't sneak around to, position 1 here or maybe even 4 to...
Okay.
Because I know roughly that my friends are that ways, off to the northwest. So...
Right. Now, as you get up to there, you can now see, as you sort of enter the hall, Inga, that all of the goblins now seem to have gathered, and you hear the chieftain is sort of not barking orders, but speaking orders actually somewhat quietly. And you can see that a lot of the goblins now are beginning to assemble in what looks like some kind of formation. Like there's a group of them that's assembling up here where those guards previously were. There's another set that seems to be assembling here. This down here, though, is empty. Like the bottom half of the cavern seems to be mostly empty, but it sounds or looks to you as if the chieftain is issuing orders of some kind to the goblins, many of whom are still sort of like stumbling into each other and trying to stand upright, but they seem to be trying to pay attention to the chief, who, even though you can't hear what he's saying, seems to be very focused now.
Okay, while they're paying attention to the chief, I want to use that moment of distraction to sneak past to 1 here.
Make a stealth check for me, please, as you get to 1. You can get to 1 first, then make the stealth for me.
22.
Yes. 22. Yeah, you silent dwarf, ninja dwarf running.
Which is impressive, given that she's wearing, goblin armor.
Yes, that is indeed. A lot of it is, again, and the dwarven sort of situation is helping because you were able to, I'm going to get out of Discord so we don't get those sounds, because you're actually able to, as you're walking over, sort of duck below the notice, actually sort of crouch down a bit, and they're not even looking in your direction, which is a good thing because there's no other orcs down here right now. You are sort of by your lonesome as you get over to here. And as you arrive over there, what you see, again, these orc figures are not here. They're farther up north. What you see here is what looks like a set of the sort of walls here are much more rough-hewn, and they seem to be leading off into more sort of caves and maybe warrens might be the way to put it. They're not narrow tunnels yet, but it definitely seems like there's less living quarters and more like natural cave area off here to the west. There's also kind of a not great smell. Not that any of the smells here have been great, but there's definitely a more distinctively foul smell coming from this direction.
Okay. Okay, how many around Area 4 are they?
Up in that area now is, well, the sort of, this is a little bit, I don't want to make it seem like it's this clear cut, but this is sort of the demarcation of where all of mostly the goblins are, but there are some stragglers definitely that are to the south of that line. So there's a few sort of stumbling around in this general area. Most of them are concentrated all around that general northwestern area of the cavern. So there's not guards blocking it, but there's definitely, I mean, you'd be coming right close to the leading edge of them if you went up there. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to take Gandalf's advice and follow my nose. And it smells pretty foul down this way, right? Kind of like that sulfuric smell?
No. It smells more like manure.
Okay. So Ingo figures what this area might be. I will try and get to 4. I'll try and sneak my way there.
Okay.
Avoiding eye contact with the chieftain.
Well, the chieftain right now is actually facing to the north, talking to most of his goblins. Okay. As you make your way up there, let's head back over and find out what's going on with River and Robar. So River and Robar, you guys have seen this oddly this smithy with these this store of weapons. What folks doing?
Holy shit, that's loud. Sorry. I hear a strange sound.
you hear a ping, a mysterious ping.
Echoing through the halls.
Yes. No, what do you guys want to do?
My alarm has waken me up. Okay, so based on where that cave went, it's likely that Inga is in this direction to the east.
That would be your guess, based on the way the original passageway went, yes.
Or maybe down this way as well. I mean, the caverns can wend and wind their way. Oh, what? We could split up. Even more. Oh, your
chat, your opinion. Splitting the party. Just want to make sure.
Yes, you're muted.
Amal, you're muted, I can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. It got super loud. Like everything is slightly vibrating here. So, so my question first though was, how many weapons are there? Like, do these seem like weapons that like they might come and like, yeah, how many are there?
They look a couple hundred. They look like they're being mass produced.
Right. Okay.
Now, the other thing I want to point out, you also know, although again, you guys don't have extensive smithing history, but you also know that this is not a big enough forge to be doing this on its own in the short term. It could have made some of these weapons, but some of these weapons might have been brought here. In other words, it would have taken a while for this forge to produce all this stuff. Although they do have a lot of manpower or goblin power, I guess.
Right. All right. So I think that River is going to want to at least know where this passage goes, if she can get to it, if she can like get a look without revealing herself.
Okay.
But she also turns to Robar and says, do you know if there's a way to, I don't know, destroy these? I mean, there are too many of them to just throw them on the fire, but I just feel like if we have the opportunity to deal some kind of blow to whatever they are preparing here, that we should take it. But I don't feel like I have the knowledge of how to do that.
Nor I. I mean, maybe Tony Bear knows something about this. He's good with materials, but I mean, there are hundreds of these things here. Throwing them in the fire, it wouldn't even melt them down, and ultimately they can just make them again. It doesn't look like they take long to make them. It looks like they just throw them out as quickly as possible and kind of pick up a rusty blade. This thing is, I mean, it could kill someone, but it's not like they spend any time crafting it.
No,
you feel, Robar, by the way, that you could probably snap it over your knee if you wanted. It's definitely flimsy.
It could still, it could still run someone through with enough strength, though, right? Like,
it could definitely do damage. I mean, for sure. But it's just not. This was built quickly and not to last. It was built for speed.
Yeah.
It also doesn't look like it could all have been made here, so they may very well be bringing it from elsewhere. So it's not to say we'd actually be setting them back much if we did anything to these. Well, I think we can pass on.
If we can find their leader, maybe we can do something there. But I'm not sure. I think we need more help than just ourselves at the moment. I can scout the southern passage if you want to scout the eastern one there.
Well, all right, but stay close. We shouldn't be separated at this point. Not with.
Just take a peek.
All right.
Okay. All right. When you said I'll just take a peek, I just had the two large pits open up underneath each of you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. So, River, as you look down here, you actually can see only about midway through, and then it starts getting dark. There is, again, now it's not all this passageway, because you've got the flickering light from the room behind you, and there's also some other light, a brighter light, you would say, that is coming from the eastern side. If you had to guess, it's coming from possibly this great hall, if everything in your mind fits in terms of where she would have gone, where Inga would have gone, and so forth. And so in the middle, the passageway is extremely dim, but you can make out what looks like a passageway that is sort of moving down to the south. So it extends to the east here, a good maybe 35, 40 feet, and then breaks to the south. That's what you can see from your vantage point here. Robar, for your part, you can actually see only a little bit down here, and then it darkens very quickly. There is no such, light other than what's coming from behind you down here. It's very dark. There's also a rather intense smell from this area.
That's intense.
Yeah. Intense.
River calls out to Robar. Well, no, calls out. Whispers, expecting them.
Hello.
Yeah. I think this is the passage that leads to the hall. From what I can tell, I can't see all the way down, but I think that must be.
It smells real bad here, and there's no light. So
yeah, let's back away from that. I think
give that one a wide berth. Okay.
Lore Master, no, never mind. You answered me.
I saw it.
Cool. Awesome. Right.
So we head down here.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Better go quiet, and if they've got Inga captured, I'm not sure exactly what we do, but let's find out first of all.
Okay. Now, same question I asked before about Inga. You folks are planning to go here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and move your tokens there, and then I'm going to ask you to make a stealth check when you arrive. So go ahead and move your tokens down to there. You can place them wherever you like. There's enough room for you both to be side by side if you wish. And now, or not, it's up to you. And now go ahead and both make stealth checks for me, please. That's Robar's, or did you just make a new one? Oh, that's right. That's yours.
That is Robar's, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it should say, there you go. Okay. And by the way, just so you know, roll 20, the leftmost is always the first roll. So 14 is the one that you want, which is the one on the left. If you have it at advantage, then you're taking the one on the right, obviously, but you don't. So
taking the higher of the two.
The higher of the two, right. And actually, there are certain circumstances where you're allowed to take the roll that you wish, because there may be some cases where people may want to fail, very limited, but there's occasionally times where they may want to fail a given check. So it's your choice. That said, yes, almost all the time.
Sometimes it's hysterical.
It's just funny. It's hijinks. Okay. All right. So you don't hear any sound of challenge or anything like that. as you get to this spot, you can see now that there are stairs that are leading up, actually, that are climbing up towards another bend in the passage where you think you can just make out a set of more stairs, and the light is brighter in that direction.
Hooray. I say hooray only because I like when I can see the board.
Yes. I know. When the fog of war is gone, it's so comforting. Okay. Right. So, as you are sort of thinking about hooray, let us go back up to Tawny Bear here. So, Tawny Bear, you are standing with Stone and with Dindy, and Dindy is kind of looking nervously around him, and he says, Tawny Bear, can I ask you something?
You just did.
Well, I meant something besides that first.
Oh, yes, of course.
He says, is my brother all right? Dodie, I mean.
Aside from being terribly worried about you, yes, he seemed to be.
He says, well, I don't blame him. Dodie's always sort of, well, you see, Dodie's always good at dealing with people, and I'm always good at making things happen behind the scenes, you know? I could never do what Dodie does, but then Dodie relies on me for everything. Well, and his wife, of course. I guess I just... And he sort of, he stops and he kind of looks down and shakes his head. And he says, it's a good place, that inn. There have been some good times there. And, well, I'd hate to think of anything happening to it. Or him.
Then don't.
And he shakes his head, says, I don't know. I've been nothing but a disaster since this began. And he almost unconsciously puts his hand up, and of course he's on the ground seated, so he has to put his hand up to get to Stone's head, and he's sort of petting Stone, not even paying attention, and then he's sort of, and he sort of like awkwardly pats the side of Stone's face and then stops. Yeah, basically.
Dindy. Do you believe that you will see your home again?
He says, I don't know.
That is not the correct answer.
He says, well, I believed that until the orcs started to attack us, and then I believed it again until the goblins took me, and then I believed it again until they put a chain on my foot, and so now I'm kind of running out of second chances to believe,
Are you alone?
He says, no. I mean, you nice people have come to help me. I'm grateful, but there's many goblins, and they said terrible things, Tawny Bear, about what they were going to do to the people up there. It just made me realize how many of them are there down there. I thought we beat all of them. I thought the Battle of Five Armies was the end of it. And there's just so many of them. And there's so few of us. So few of us.
But there are us. Not really good phrasing, but still. You are not alone. You have people here who are willing to help you. People who have come here to find you and bring you home. You still have hope. So long as you still live, you still breathe, and you have people here who care about you.
Do you believe in the people in your group?
No, I mean, yes.
He says, what? No, he says in Robar and that new one, River and Inga. You believe in them?
To be honest, I don't know enough about the river yet. But Robar and Inga I have fought with on several occasions. Even, well, you were there.
And he nods. He says, yes, that was... I saw you at one point, and you took your staff, and, well, you almost knocked one of those goblins' heads clean off. I was impressed. I sometimes wish I could do brave things like that instead of just cower in a corner, you know?
It takes practice. And to be honest, during the Battle of Five Armies, I was very angry. I was a very angry person, and it took time for me to realize that the pendulum does, in fact, swing both ways, and we are each on our own pendulum. I am swinging back towards peace. I have had my share of fighting. There is more of it yet in my coming days, I'm sure, and I will do it if I have to. But peace and the comfort of the hearth that your people enjoy so often, that is my destination, and I will get back there. And if needs be, I will. And he says this with a big, big, genuine smile. I will drag you with me, kicking and screaming if I have to.
And he smiles and he says, That's all I can ask for. I want to fight more. You want to fight less. Maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle, huh?
I think that's a safe bet.
Okay. Let's cut back down to Inga. Inga, you are making your way up towards the big number 4 on the floor of the cavern, as it were.
I want to ask what it's written in. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's in Comic Sans.
Okay.
Which says that you can tell. And somewhere Larry Elmore is like, no. You're proceeding upwards. Now, are you trying to hug the wall, Inga, as you go, like the western wall? Or are you, like, how much are you trying to avoid detection and how much are you trying to blend in? There's still not there's like a couple of orcs, goblins down here, but for the most part, this is pretty empty space that you're in right now.
A happy medium. No, I think I'm more
does not exist, sir, unfortunately.
I think I'm more stealthing than anything else. Inga is actually better at sneaking than she is role playing.
Okay.
As an orc, I think so.
I was gonna say, I was like, wow, there's got shots fired. No, role playing as an orc, right? Okay, yes. So if you're gonna bring her up to here, is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
So go ahead and do that, and then make a stealth check for me, please, especially when you get to this spot.
14.
Okay, let's see if they notice anything.
They roll a 93.
I was gonna say critically hit. No, they actually don't. They are just like, rah, rah. And now that you're close, you can hear it was like, you hear the orc speaking. Right, lads, we've had enough fun and games. Someone's trying to play rough with us. Well, they're gonna pay. First, we're gonna go up and get rid of that traitor halfling up there, and once we've dealt with him, then we'll do what we came here to do, eh? There's no reason we should wait any longer, lads. The time's come when the world will hear our names. Brrr! And you hear this, there's this great sort of sound, and they all cheer. Although it's not really sort of the sound of clinking weapons, because half of it is like forks and pots, although more of it now seems to be weapons, as some of the others are sobering up. And he says, right, some of you are going to head up north. You're going to take care of him first. The rest of you, you're going to head up west. And he points to the passageway behind him, but literally jerks his thumb over his shoulder. That way, so he doesn't even turn around. That way. And he says, we're going to scour each part of the caves and the caverns. Once we've done everything we can find, we're going to track him down. Whatever put that stuff in the food didn't get here without help. And we'll find out by squeezing the hobbit till he talks.
Like 5 minutes ago, he's like, "Oh, your pet rat, Rob," and now he's like, "Oh."
Yeah, well, your spice has a wonderful way of sobering up.
Very sobering, I think. In that case, yeah.
Do we hear this in the passage as well?
You hear the echoing sound of the roar, but then you just sort of hear there's no, like, you can't specify it. Inga can, because she's not dealing with the echoes of the passageway. Right. So, and Tawny Bear does not hear any of this where he is. Okay, so I'm pointing that out, Inga, for you to be aware of. Now, if you look into the west, you can actually see, peering down. River is not able to see you, but you can clearly see River peer as you're sort of looking up with your ability to see in the dark. So you can actually see the river peering down at you, it's dim. I should take that back. River, you think you see something looking up at you, and it might be an orc. But it's down at the entrance to the passageway. It's hard to make out. You, obviously, Inga, can definitely see River. So before I ask River what she does, I'm going to ask you, Inga, what you want to do.
Psst. Psst.
River squints down into the
25.
passage. Presumably the pisting will suggest to me
Yes,
that it's
it sort of echoes around you, but yes.
I was gonna say that sound travels far too well. Don't ever make that noise.
Yeah. So River looks around and intuits that she can be seen, and so just kind of gestures for her to come up.
Okay. Scurries up.
Okay. All right.
You got the key. Yes. All right. Quickly. In fact,
Right, the sound of this passage first, and you begin to hear the sounds of creatures coming from the passageway to the east where Inga just came from.
Do you remember that scene in The Karate Kid where Ralph Macchio comes, he's dressed up as a shower, right? He comes running back through the party and says, "It's coming around!"
And you're running out of time. I do remember that. Too much of my childhood.
So can I intuit that that both River and Robar have a similar degree of move, and that it is more than Inga's?
Inga's is close though. I want to say, let me see. Let me actually take a look and see what Inga's speed is. I believe she's got 25. You guys have 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we can hear that people are going to start coming up this passage pretty soon.
If you had to guess.
All right.
Hey,
So, what I'm trying to figure out is like someone needs to run up to like ideally get ahead in order to free Dindy as quickly as possible. And then someone probably needs to. Does anyone need? Would it be better to hold people off or to just try and do this?
Hold that many of them.
No,
There are loads of them.
All right. So we should probably just run back up.
Yeah, let's just run.
All right, you two here. Don't. You start to hear the slapping of feet on stone.
Yeah.
So
Run.
shall we run? And
go.
like we'll show, and obviously now we know the way back up, so Inga can follow us.
Okay.
So should we just how far can we place ourselves?
So if we're not in initiative yet. They seem to be not running but walking. So if you are going to, now I do want to point out, if you run, are you running in an attempt to run quietly? Or are you sort of full out, get out of here type of thing?
Yeah, I think it's like, oh, what's over here? And like, it's like pretending that we're orcs looking around as well.
Oh.
But running. Not at full speed, but kind of like
Okay. Are you actually speaking behind you? Are you sort of yelling over your shoulder, like that type of thing? Or is that just sort of, that's the impression you
I
want to
think Inga
leave?
might, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm looking down here.
Okay. All right,
Whilst
go
we
ahead
move.
and what I'm gonna have you guys do is head up here, because I assume you're going that direction. And I would like Inga to make a deception check for me, please. Let's see if that throws the pursuers off your trail. Of course, they don't even know they're pursuing you. But
11.
11. You notice how the deceptions are getting steadily worse over time.
I know, yeah.
By the end of it, one.
No.
Let's see. Well, fortunately for you, though, their alcohol seems to have affected them. So you hear, but you can't really make out what is being said, but there's some shouted reply. But you don't hear the sound of the feet going faster, so that seems to do something. Okay. Now you come up this way. Now, as you are coming up to this corner right about here, you hear the sound of, right, on the count of 3, all of us are going to go. And River, if you would have to get to, or Robar, or Inga for that matter, would have to get to about here to see who's making the sound, because it seems to be coming from over here someplace.
Oh, crap. Okay.
So you could, like, I mean, you
okay.
could, if you wish, get, like, here to kind of peek around if you wanted to do
Yeah.
that. Like a little...
that's...
River will do that.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so what you actually see here are the 2 orc soldiers that may have been the ones actually that you saw before. And then there are... Where are my... Hold on a second, let me find my... Here we go.
34 other ones.
Yeah, exactly. And 75. No, not quite that many, but okay.
No.
Right, they're not that big. I know. that never gets old. I love bringing that in the first time. Hey, look at this. Okay. You see these smaller grayish creatures. These are the goblins who are behind them. However, you can't help but notice that there are a number of them.
They do tend to do that.
Yep. There's that, and they're small, so they can fit into relatively small spaces. It looks like there's a good 6 or 7 goblins behind the 2 orcs, and they seem to be kind of like getting themselves pumped up as if before a sporting event. They're all clapping each other and sort of high-fiving, and that type of thing. And one of the orcs in front says, "Shh, all right, lads, keep it down. I'm glad you're excited. They'll be excited too when they get a load of us, but you want to go up there all stealthy like. If you get him excited, he's liable to squeak, and we don't want him squeaking before we kill the nasty rat." Yeah, not 100,000 orcs, no, Dragon. Not quite that many.
So, why would they not want him to squeak? But, I mean...
Until they start killing them.
Until they start killing him. Okay, interesting. All right.
It is a good question.
So, River has heard this?
Yes.
Okay. Is it clear that everyone else has heard this, or?
Yeah. I mean, the ones who are close enough to you, yes. They're close enough to you that they can hear it.
Okay. And I can tell, like, roughly how many there are from there?
Yeah. Roughly speaking, there's maybe 5 or 6, although there may be more behind that you can't see. And then there's another, as I say, these 2 orc soldiers. They're the ones that you saw before.
Oh,
Okay.
I wish Fifely was there. Wall of stone. All right, let's go.
Yeah. See ya. Yep.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Does it look like we can is it possible to sneak past them, or for to sneak past them?
Very unlikely without making some kind of a distraction to turn them around. I mean, they're literally staring right at the bend that you would have to pass.
Okay. Can we make a distraction? Okay, so River turns to Robar and Inga in a combination of gesture and very, very quiet speech, say, one of us needs to get past here with the key, and we need to be ready to run as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But I can stand and fight, but someone has to go past and
I can stand and fight as well.
Inga, do you want to head back up with the key and free them and tell Tawny Bear what's happening?
I feel like Inga would probably want to stay and fight as well, but to prevent myself having an argument with myself. Yes.
I mean, so River would look at the students. I mean, do you think that we can take all of them? Because we don't want to attract everyone else's attention, and I think everyone is probably going to be swarming through here very quickly. And we need to warn Tawny Bear and Stone as well before
I healed Inga quite a bit, right?
I believe that's right. Let me double check and actually see what the...
It says she's on 12 hit points on this character.
I think that's
Robar
right.
is on...
I think I'm good.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm on 7 hit points. So I'm about to die.
Uh-huh.
God.
Yeah, no, you were definitely not. You, yeah,
Okay.
Inga was healed
I
up to
don't know.
12. River's
know
at
if I
full.
can-
Robar's at 5. Tawny Bear's at
Okay.
4.
Yeah, no. If this is visible on Robar, then
Yeah, maybe I
River
should-
would be like,
maybe I'll take-
no. You are going to head back up there and try to stay behind
Fine.
until very, very well. So Inga, pass the key, and then Inga and I can stand and fight, or try to cause a distraction at least, so that you can get there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So what I'm wondering now is, what have I got on me? I just want to see if I can do the classic throw something in the darkness past them, behind them, that makes them look away,
Right.
kind of move.
So, so the only issue with where you're standing to do that is that you'll notice that there's this little kind of a lip of rock that's right here, and so you could create a distraction where you are, like, just drop something right in the spot where you are. You could create a distraction that would be like right there, like sort of right next to them, but you couldn't throw anything past them very easily just because you don't have any. You have no boomerangs on you. You wouldn't be able to curve around the side.
If I came up to here and threw something back in this direction, would it be likely that they could, that they would be distracted enough to come down the tunnel past me?
You don't know how they'll react. I mean, certainly they would notice. You know how they would notice. They certainly would notice you, but what they would do is unclear.
Okay. And if I come to the lip here, is it possible to throw something around there from that vantage point?
Yes, I would say that you would have to. The minute you do that, well, let me see. It's possible that one of the two of these guys in front will see as you sort of, take your arm and whip it around the side.
Right.
It's possible they'll see it. They might also not see it. It depends on what direction they're looking at the time. The creatures behind them, the goblins behind them, because they're shorter, won't notice it. And then the question is just, will you get it over their heads, or will it land in the middle?
Right.
That depends, because the orcs are in the front are taller, so you need to get it over their heads, obviously.
Right.
And maybe she has a golden ring that would make her invisible. That's not the same time in the campaign, Dragon.
Right. Because I think what she's let's see, what has she got? I think what she's thinking of throwing is like a coin or something.
Okay.
So that she wouldn't, so that it could make a clatter but still be very, very small, and something that she could hopefully lob. She's a pretty dexterous lady.
Yep.
So all right, so cool. So I guess she'll try to do that first.
Okay. And Inga and Robar, what are you guys going to do? What are the both of you going to do while the river is doing this?
I'm going to tell them obviously as well and be like,
well, right. I figured you were like, watch me, follow my lead. And
Just improv. Well, as
doing it live.
Inga will go first, I guess, along with the river, and try and make herself a target. Rush towards these guys. Try and block them off at this point, whilst Robar kind of does the alley oop around the back.
Yeah.
If I was to,
Okay.
Robar kind of takes this sort of line. That's a horrible color, isn't it? Holy moly, that's disgusting.
Okay.
It's a bit snotty.
Perfect. It looks exactly
They're like
All
kind of
right.
angle. Well, Inga who I will now put in blue, goes kind of just there.
Oh, okay. So Robar is.
Ideally after, yeah.
So Robar is going to hug the wall with Inga's key. Inga's given Robar the key. Inga is going to charge, now, River, you're throwing the coin and then backing up, right?
To see what happens first. The ideal scenario for River is that they turn away, giving Robar, a chance to run past without being noticed, and for her to get the element of surprise on them.
Got it. Now the question is, when you do that, are you going to stay to look? Are you going to continue to glance around, or are you going to back up down to, someplace like this or whatever, out of sight? And then, in other words, how closely are you going to observe them? Because you can watch them if you wish, but that does run the risk that they might spot you as you're watching.
No, I'll throw and duck back, because the even more ideal scenario is if they get distracted enough for all three of us to go. Because I think this is a better point at which to hold them off than this probably.
Yep.
So yeah. At this point, still trying to not be seen, trying to distract them, and then
So let's have, I got you. So then River, let's have you go up to here, and I'm going to have you make a stealth check to see if you get there without them hearing you. And then we'll have you do your coin throw. But we will start with the stealth check. Wow.
amazing.
Holy crap.
I recommend you take the natural
Wow.
20.
Dear God. Okay, so she just winks out of existence, like enters a new plane, just like you guys are like, what happened to
does
River?
have the one
Jesus,
ring.
this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like she just
Oh my god.
she just like morphs into like she looks like the cave, like complete camouflage. Anyway, wow. Okay, yeah, you get right up. They have no idea. I'm not
Damn
later.
it,
Like,
I should be taking the key, but oh well.
yeah, I know. Well, so I'm just double checking. That's where you're going. Did I
Yeah.
put you in the right spot? Okay.
Yeah.
So complete, totally silent, just flowing as is your namesake to the side of the cave there, and they have not heard you at all. Now you can make a dexterity check here to try to toss it over them. Now you're aiming, you said, for behind all of them if you can, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how well you do that. Yeah, I know, Dragon. Double natural 20s. In before double natural ones, right? Like she throws the coin into her face.
No, please no. So to roll that's in the saving throws area?
No,
No,
so that's not saving throws. That you're just going to click on the statistic itself, dexterity, for a check. Saving throw, I'll tell you if it's a saving throw, but that's when something's being done to you. When you're doing it, it's the dexterity check.
You have strength, dexterity,
It's just that-
constitution, intelligence. Click on the word dexterity.
On the word. Okay, because I was on the number and it wasn't letting me do that. Okay,
Yeah, I think
great.
on the word would do it, yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Now, do I take the one on the right?
You take the one on the left. It's always the one on the left unless you have advantage, in which case you can take the higher one. But this was not advantage. I assumed you were just doing...
Right.
I should have asked you, although I need to make sure that we double check on that. If you want to do something with advantage, keep in mind that we do have the chance to, if you don't have inspiration, you can ask for inspiration from chat, and they may, if they are benign and merciful, some of them may be able to do that for you. Don't have to worry about it now, but just in future, something to keep in mind.
I don't actually know what it means to have advantage, so I should probably...
I'm sorry. So advantage simply means that you roll twice as it automatically does, and then you take the usually the higher, but basically the better of the two results. So disadvantage is the opposite. You have to take the lower or the worse of the two results.
Right.
And inspiration, basically, not your inspiration, your particular version of it, but general inspiration means that people can use that to get advantage on an attack roll or a saving throw or an ability check like this.
And do I have any inspiration at this point, or do I start at 0?
I don't think you have one, no. So you could request it, and there are people in chat who can, who because of the Patreon support, have inspiration that they can provide. They can use a certain number per month.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
And on your character sheet where you have strength, dexterity, blah, right next to strength, you'll see inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. So I have nothing there presently.
Right.
That's
And once you get it, you just click on that circle and it'll put a little runic F in there for you.
So you toss it over the top, the front row of orcs here, and you hear this sing, and then, poof, and then, huh, and someone says, "It's that," and they start yammering at each other, and you don't really understand the language. You're obviously yammering back and forth in Goblin, and the one in front says, "Oh, you maggots!" And the two in front turn to face them. "What are you doing?" "Something hit me in the eye, boss." "Oh, my fist will hit you in the eye. You don't shut up." And so at the moment they're looking away from you, and sort of looking at each other, trying to chat with each other. So at the moment these two are facing the ones in front. Now are facing the ones in back. Now the ones in back are facing them, so they're not all turned around. They are sort of talking with each other, but they're concentrated on here at the moment.
Right. All right. So River's gonna gesture to Robarda to go.
Time to run, and Robar's gonna try and sneak his way past.
Make that stealth check for me, sir, please. Let's see if you can live up to the double ninja invisibility.
Since they're distracted,
Right?
does he get advantage?
Oh,
Please.
He does not get advantage.
It doesn't matter
but,
anyway.
So let's see.
hey guys.
Oh no.
Yeah, you are extremely lucky that these guys have have, as appropriate with their condition of inebriation, been rolling horrifically bad detection rolls. So they're kind of like, boss, did you hear something? Yeah, I heard your stupid voice, Charlie. Now, what are you talking about? It's blah, blah, blah,
Who's
blah.
dropping gold? Who's keeping gold from the boss?
All right, so you make your way around, okay? You're able to make your way all the way up to where Tawny Bear is. You see sort of Tawny Bear staring down the hall.
Hi, key. Officer back there. And I go to.
And Titty says, the
unlock-
key!
I like just like as I unlock his bonds.
It immediately, like, he puts it in and just and immediately smoothly opens, no rust or anything like that. And he stands up, massaging his sore ankle. Thank you. Maybe you're right, Tawny Bear. Maybe you're right after all.
Don't do
Happy day! And he starts and so Stone literally walks up to him and bonks him in the chest, and then just sort of stares at him, and he's like, oh yes, sorry, quiet, yes, stealthy as the wind, quiet. Okay.
Like me farting down corridors.
Okay, now that is the deal with that. Now the orcs are the two orcs in front are like, I don't care what you say, hitch in the face, it won't happen again. Now I'm telling you that it's time for us, and they're beginning to turn. River, what are you and Inga going to do? Turn back, I mean.
I think we're going to, is it possible to ambush them from this position?
You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it right now if you're gonna do that, or you're gonna have to run past them one way or the other.
Remember the scene in Conan the Barbarian where Valeria is standing there and she stops for a second, and then she just starts patting her sword in her hand, like she's like, "All right, come on."
Yep.
I just imagine these guys turning around. She's just standing there like, "Hi."
Wait for it. Yeah.
Yes. River is absolutely just going to stand there and ambush them.
Okay. All right. So I will give you a surprise round, because as they turn around and they see they see the woodman standing there. I feel like every time I say that I should be like, but you're not Woodwoman. I just have to call you Woodman. That's just what it is.
I know.
But
There's
it's
a whole
not
note about it in the book and everything.
Right, exactly. That's right. So, but they see the woodman standing there, proudly in front of them, and they're like, and they sort of make this weird yangled gasp, and then you were upon them. So you can get an attack in on either one of the front two. If you want to attack behind, you probably can't do that without ramming through them somehow. Inga will also get an attack as well.
Yeah, she's gonna focus on attacking one of the big dudes with her axes.
Okay.
And she's ideally going to. I don't know if it's possible for her to I would quite like for her to be able to bring both axes around and just decapitate. Yes, right, just like that.
Right.
And decapitate this one dude. So that's what she's going to try and do, if that looks feasible. If it doesn't look like he's super armored.
Well, comparatively, he's fairly well armored, actually. But you could certainly do that and could strike a great blow for justice. I mean, because he's definitely not, his sword is not up in front of him, and he's not really, he's kind of like, whoa, he has no ideas. This is all happening within a matter of seconds. So go ahead and make your double attack on him, as I try to find where the hell I put his statistics. Oh, there we go.
He's got a -3 armor class and -2 hit points.
Yeah. You mean first edition -3? Because haha, if that's what you mean.
No, I don't.
Okay. Right. Hey, what's up, Shalom?
I think -3 means he doesn't have any skin.
Yes. No. He's right. He's literally just brittle bones.
A column of flesh.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Barely held together. All right.
Oh, I should probably move my token. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just getting down there. Their vital statistics. This one is okay. Yeah, one more of those. Okay. Right. So let's see. We had a 13 and an 11. The 11 misses, but the 13 does hit, and strikes him in the chest. So let's see how much damage you do with that 13.
45.
700 damage.
Just click on the word hand axe
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
is
in
that
the
not what
chat.
is that not what I did the first place?
in the chat, not on your character sheet.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Even tells you 5 slashing damage. Okay.
Nice.
So
Oh, this works so well.
yeah, it's really that's why I said once we got an input, it's so useful.
Oh.
So they're like he like and he kind of staggers back, and you hear this sound of boss. He seems to have stumbled back into the goblin in back of him. All right. Inga, you will also get an attack off. And Inga, are you aiming at the same, or you guys stacking damage?
Different guys so that we can each take one, but it's a 9.
That is not going to hit. So Inga swings, but just sort of out of reflex, he kind of steps back and throws up his shield. Doosh, and it jars off to the left. It says, smart one, eh? And with that, I am going to change up some music, because we need some music right now. And let's get some initiative going, people.
Can,
Alright.
as we're doing that,
Nope,
can,
death and axes, that's what I want.
has Robar filled
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
on what's going on?
Yeah, I would say,
Yes.
back there, they're holding him up. We got to help him or get him out of there.
At that point, Tony's like, Stone, go.
Okay, there's
Aw.
that. Hold
That's
on.
right. I should have probably left instructions for Stone to be used in getting Dindy out, but since we don't know where to go yet, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking for the music is being difficult.
Sorry, should we roll initiative? Did you say? Oh,
There we go.
Robar's rolled it.
There we go. All right. Yes, let me pull up my timer.
I was going
my
to say, put up the
tracker.
tracker.
Yep,
and
yep.
Nice, natural 20 on your initiative.
Wow. Seriously?
Amazing.
Amal's just like,
Just keep doing
this is how we do it.
It would be great to do this when actually dealing, damage and attacks. But it's cool. I'm gonna take it. I'm taking it.
Do you want initiative from all of us?
Yes, I do want initiative from everybody.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, class score? Oh,
Natural one.
Tawny Bear's like, I will wait for the proper moment to
I
act.
will.
That's actually what you had last time, Tawny Bear.
Yes,
You
it
had-
is.
Jeez.
I totally want Tawny Bear to find some creative use for that syrupy gruel at the correct
Right.
amount.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, Robar, is that a 10 for who and a 6 for who? And
Should be on the tracker. 10 for Inga, 6 for Rubar.
okay, 10 for Ingus. Yeah, it's not on my tracker, so I'm going to put. Oh, that's why.
Oh, I
Because
see
there's
it.
that
I
other one.
see it.
There it is
Yeah.
now. I see it. Look at that. I have both of you, Tawny Bear. 2 and 2. Okay, 24, 10, 6. Yes, let's sort that by descending. All right, let's see. And let's see what the bad guys are going to do.
Tawny Bear seems to have vanished from the turn
Yeah,
order.
I was going to say you removed the wrong me.
Oh, damn it. All right, can you drag yourself over again? Re-add yourself.
To the tracker?
Yeah, or do I have to do that for you?
I think you have to do that.
There we go. And now you should be there. You see that?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Let's see. That is that. All right, I'm just getting. All right. So.
Make myself sick doing this.
Huh?
Getting into the music and
Yes.
making myself super dizzy and
Yeah. Okay.
trying to flail and dance and not fling my headphones off, and the combination of wanton abandon, is that right? Wild abandon and trying to restrain myself enough to not fling my headphones off is making me very dizzy.
Exactly. Okay. So let's see. River with the ridiculous 24 initiative, the absurd 24 initiative, and Robar has got a 6. Okay. I think basically you guys just got into a big discussion, you and Tawny Bear, and that's why you guys are all just hanging out there. You're like, let's talk, and then once the fighting starts, we'll get to it eventually. And, okay, that is going to lead us to the River. River, shockingly, River, you're up first.
She's going to keep attacking the guy that she's just attacked.
Okay.
But I just wanted to So I used Warden's Gift before.
Right.
And it's still, so is that something that I can do again at this point, or?
Let me double check. I don't remember whether or not you can, how many times you can use that.
I vaguely remember it being like a 10-minute window. But I don't know if I can then do that again after that 10-minute window, or whether that's just like.
Let's find out together. No, it's a 10-minute, right? I doubt you'll be able to do it a ton of times. I imagine it would be a certain limit, but let me see. So, Warden's Gift. Number of times equal to your charisma modifier. So what is your charisma?
2.
2, so you can use it one more time.
Okay, great. So, well, she's standing with Inga at this point, and so
it's a bonus action, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's a bonus action, so you can actually use it and also do an attack if you wish. So you can.
Great. Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, as she's going to attack this guy, she says, she says, "It's an honor, Inga, to stand with you in battle," and boom, delivers through her words the magical extra d6 to Inga, just as she slashes the same dude with her axes again.
Okay, so we've got a 10 and a 10. Unfortunately, both of those miss.
Damn it.
So, yeah, it wards it off both times. Not so clever now when I know you're coming, eh? And sort of stands up straight and glares at you. Okay, Inga, now newly blessed with the Warden's Gift, you can now act as you will. And if you wish, as the way this works again is you can attack and then you can then decide, before I tell you if it hits or not, you can decide if you want to add that gift bonus to the die roll after you roll.
Okay.
So you know.
Okay, so I'll keep him 23.
What? Do you wish to add? He looks very strong and armored. No, I imagine. No, that is definitely a hit.
All right. Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay. She's a +2 to strength? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
2 on the die.
All right. Sort of strikes him, and he's like, ugh, and sort of, rubs the blood off his chest. Okay. Let's see. That was Inga. Now, you guys, I should have asked this before. River and Inga, you're staying right on top of them, I assume, right? You are not backing up. Okay, I didn't think so.
No, we want to keep them away from. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, River also gets to move Stone since it's her turn.
Oh yeah, and Stone is heading down towards me.
Can move, but not attack. So just be
I know,
aware, but you can move. That's correct.
Yes,
so,
and I mean, when he turns up, can he? We don't have initiative for Stone, right? Should I add
He shares yours.
No, he shares yours until he starts moving separately. When that happens, when he attacks on his own, he'll get his own initiative. But for now, he's with you.
Gotcha. All right, and I have to tell him to. So I'm just gonna have him come over here, if that's okay. And
what's his speed?
40 feet.
Can't get there. Well,
oh.
Let me take that back. Yes, I guess if he's going to.
I think
I'm not going to allow a double move there, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Normally that would happen if he was using completely his own actions, but he can't attack separately from your command anyway. So so he's only able to move that far. Also, he hasn't been commanded to do anything. He's just coming towards you because he hears battle and he wants to go to his master. So that's what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Tawny Bear told him to go, is the thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
But I am not his mistress.
But you're not his master, exactly.
No.
He's just all right. I just put him where the pink X is because
he starts to eat the gruel. Delicious. No, that's like antifreeze. Jesus. Okay. Right. All right. Looks good. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder about Stone. I'm actually really excited to see what happens when Stone gets his own initiative and he becomes his own thing. Okay. Let's see. That leads us to. So now you hear this sort of and this sort of like weird chattering behind the two orcs, and then you see a small short spear poke out between the legs of the orcs, and two of them, one on you, River, and one on Inga, pokes at your legs. And you can see that there's actually a goblin that is like literally poking between the legs of the orc in front of them. They're bent all the way down to try to get a strike in.
Ha!
Let's see if that works.
Oh man, I know exactly what I want to do with this.
Let's see.
So is it?
I think I just figured out what you want to do.
13. 13. Let me mention these attack rolls,
Okay,
and then you
sorry.
can tell me what. So 13 on your AC, River. Does that hit your AC? Or armor class?
It's certainly less than that. Does it have to be more? Sorry, I wish I knew this.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Your armor class is less than 13.
No, it's more. It's 16.
Okay, that's fine. Then it misses you. The one on Inga though, I think is going to hit with a 19. I'm pretty sure, right? Yes, Will. Inga's AC.
19 is going to be a hit. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
And then as soon as I resolve this damage, you can tell me what you want to do.
Okay.
Let's see. So it's going to be okay. All right. So that is going to hit Inga for 2 points of damage as she is stabbed in the leg, and you hear this behind. Okay. So now, Amal, what did you want to do?
Can River grab the shaft of that spear and yank it upwards really quickly? Yeah.
Trying to think if we can do that as a reaction on the turn.
It is sort of a parry, sort of. I mean, it's like she's just parrying upwards really hard.
After grabbing downwards, I don't think you can do that and also hold your weapon. You could parry it. Now, what you could do is you could try to drop your weapon to like smash it into the ground, but I don't think you could reach down, grab it, and pull it up and claim that's a parry. I don't think I'd buy that.
No, okay, but rather than a parry, so she's got these two axes. Is it possible for her to like cross them under the I'd have to stand up to demonstrate this.
I know what you're
Like,
saying, but the thing is you can do that, but you're going to
Yeah.
be exposing yourself to the orc when you do that. Like, you literally have to bend down to do it. Remember that it's coming below the legs, so you would need to drop your guard almost to be able to do that. This is coming like, it's like maybe 6 inches above the ground. It's really low.
I see. Okay, 6 inches. Let me just try and visualize this.
Like,
That
they
is-
literally were aiming for your ankles, is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Okay.
That's why. Now, you can do that. I mean, you can do that. Just be aware that you are leaving yourself open to the big orc in front of you. You get the
Well,
impression
but-
they've done tactics like this before, or they've tried to.
Right. So like the goal would be to incapacitate the orc in front of me. But you mean the orc that's in front of Inga, or
No, I mean the orc that's in front of you. But the issue is
Yeah.
that when you do that, like when you bend down, it gives
Yeah.
the orc an opportunity perhaps to get an attack off on you. An attack of opportunity, we would call that.
Because
So,
your axes would be out of position.
Right, exactly.
Right,
That's exactly right.
right.
I see what you're trying to do, but it's
Yeah.
not so much that. It's that in the meantime, I mean, you could still do it and take the damage maybe, and then like whatever, like, you know, if it hits you. I'm just warning you that is a danger, because you're literally having to drop your focus and your axes out of the way.
right, exactly. And he like obviously has initiative, so he's going to do that before I can do anything else. Okay. Do.
It's exactly so.
It's just it would be so cool if it succeeded.
I know. No, I mean, it would be awesome. Believe me, I want awesome. I want awesome in my game, but I'm just trying to be fair.
Soprano orcs.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Exactly. All right. So basically, this is.
I'll tell you
I
what
guess-
else you can do. I'm sorry, but there's one other thing you can do. You could try to, if you wish, because it's so low, you could try to kick the spear up. But it's going to be a dexterity check to do that. In other words, without dropping your axes, you could literally just try to be like, because it's stabbing at your ankles.
Yeah.
You could just be like try to kick it up. Be quite a kick,
Okay.
but I'll let you try that if you want.
Okay. All right. Yes. Let's go with that.
Okay, because I encourage awesome. So
All right. All right. Let's go with that. So I'm making a dexterity check.
yes, so you're going to need to make a dexterity check here. I'm going to say if you have acrobatics, it would show if you're proficient in that on your sheet.
She's proficient in athletics.
Yeah,
but not
that's not
acrobatics.
it. That's not going to do it. So that's fine. Just a dexterity check then. Although, I mean, if you want it now, this would be a case. Remember, I mentioned inspiration. If you wished to appeal to chat, now would be the time to do that.
Given the
you-
fact
Pat,
you've already
I
been
would love
told.
to appeal to you for inspiration in this move, which I would hope to be ideally inspired.
So, chat, do you wish to inspire Amal to destroy one of the creatures in front of her, by which I mean incapacitating him temporarily because of something which hits him in a sensitive area? Would
Dragon
you?
Spear already said all she has to do is ask. So yeah.
Oh, okay, so Dragon, is that Dragon? Do we have inspiration on the way? Is that what's coming up here? Good to see you, Tobik. Dragon Spear, is that accurate? Am I getting an inspire here? We'll see it in a minute. They'll actually say if they're going to inspire.
Okay.
But we have to wait for chat delay because that's the thing.
Gotcha. No worries.
Oh, hi, Chaotix.
Oh, someone's saying yes.
Shalom wants to do it. Well, so you need to. I would say no. Okay, so Lily denies it. All right, that's good to know. Shalom, what you would need to do is you'd need to have an inspiration, and the way that works is that's a Patreon support thing. So if you support the Patreon at a certain level, you get 10. There's Dragon Spear. So Dragon will do it, and you'll see how we can do it. So Dragon Spear, go ahead and inspire. There we go. And just did it. Wants to inspire the river. All right, so Dragon has inspired the river. So you now have an inspiration. So now you can do that, but at advantage. So you can take the better of the two rolls. Thanks, Dragon.
All right, here we go.
You too can support the Patreon and get the same ability to inspire. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you do inspiration. Right there is why you do it. All right, so you see the river, and Inga's actually got a front row seat to this. As the spear shoots out, the river, almost as if you can imagine sort of the river dancing over stones across brooks and streams, perhaps as a child. And River, you imagine yourself doing something very much like that as you kick underneath and then pull up, and the spear shoots up. You hear this, like as if there's a shock on the other end, and then like right between the legs of the creature in front of you, and you hear this and sort of staggers over and falls on his side. So just like falls over, and you see sort of like one of those gags where like the curtain falls, and behind you see the goblin staring, no longer holding a spear, kind of wide-eyed at you, just kind of over the currently prone, not dead, but prone body of the orc in front of you. More or less, that's exactly what happens. That sounds painful. That's it. It was. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Well done. All right. Okay. Let's see. That was all happening on their stuff. Okay. So Robar, it is your turn. You are now back. I think you're back up to them. What are you gonna do?
Well, could I reach about here to get a shot in at this orchid, you think?
Let's see.
Could I get to about here with a move action, or do I need to dash?
Where were you? Were you up?
Just by the fire here, yeah.
35. 5, 10,
I don't know if this is...
Yeah, I think you could, well... So the only way that you're going to be able, I don't see how you're going to be able to get an attack off. You could, not a ranged attack. Theoretically, you could run to that position and then charge, but that would put you right in the middle of melee range, obviously.
Okay.
I don't think you can attack from there.
I'll probably just dash as an action.
Okay.
So move double speed and make it like here so I can get in a shot next turn.
Yep, you can definitely do that.
About there, and I call to Dendy like that way, run, because there are a lot of goblins about to be coming down here.
Okay, so he, for Dindy reacting very quickly, immediately just books it west.
Fast as I've ever seen him.
Yeah, exactly. He moves quickly too. Okay, now the bad guys go. So the first one. Staggers, gets basically up onto his knees, and he's just, but he doesn't pick up a weapon. He's not capable of doing anything except regretting the last 10 seconds of his life. The other one to the north is able to act, and he says, "What you did was wrong," and he brings his sword down. He completely forgets about Inga and brings his sword down on the river. He's really displeased. And he misses wildly, perhaps in sympathy with his fallen brethren.
My boyfriend!
That was not the way that... it was just wrong, okay?
I want to be right.
Yeah, exactly. A 7 is not going to get it done, so that's a wild miss. They obviously can't move anywhere, and that is going to lead us to Tawny Bear.
And you know what Tony's doing, so...
Yes. Okay, so you were able to... Now, where are you... Let me go back and look at your thing. thing before I reveal. Okay, so you're gonna. Do you want to pour that down? You want to do that now?
Nope.
We're waiting. Got it.
We're waiting.
Okay. Are you positioned in some way? Like, are you just right that spot? Like
Right there.
Okay, got it. Cool. All right. Tawny Bear does not move for reasons that will become clear later. Inga is up next. Inga, you're up, and
Yes, I still
it's
don't have
Topic,
that
exactly.
name.
What you did was wrong.
Right.
What you did was wrong and was bad, and you should feel bad.
I
Okay.
feel bad about yourself. Yeah. All right, Inga will try and slash with a great act. Oh no!
Wow, Inga's just not having it.
Well, I did was wrong.
Yeah. I should have asked too about which one that you were aiming at. I assumed you were aiming.
Same.
Do you want to
Same
use the
bloke.
gift or
What is the gift? What's the die on the gift?
you get 1d6?
Right.
To do something.
And these guys are pretty heavily armored, right?
I mean, comparatively,
Yeah.
not like. I mean, they're not. Not Titans, but
Go on then.
fine.
I feel so resigned to rolling a 1 or a 2 at this point.
Oh, poor Inga. I guess it's good that you got the stealth checks in when you needed it.
Use that moment for Inga to kind of look along the length of her great axe. Go, is this thing? straight?
Is this on? Did I turn this on? Like, hello? Okay.
11.
11. That is a miss.
Sorry.
It is a miss. So, unfortunately, Inga swings but misses. Maybe in the wildness of the orc, it sort of almost accidentally misses it. And now the creature, so the one that's sort of staring at you, River, sort of falls back and then draws a sword and says, and says something in Goblin, which you don't understand, but it seems to be something like, go away or I'll hit you with this sharp thing. Maybe is what you would suspect.
A second time.
This is
A second time.
Goblin doing this, right?
The goblin is doing it, right, the one with the lost sword. The other one tries to stab beneath at Inga again, but poke out with its spear, but misses terribly. Okay. And then, let's see. All right.
And
Then you hear the sound. No, you hear the sound of a. You hear what sounds like a, like almost like a lookout or something. Maybe again, it's in Goblin. And then you hear this this sort of whistling sound, and the next minute something impacts on the wall behind you, River. And let's see what that is.
Great.
Okay. So it impacts and hits the ground, and when you turn around, it shatters. It's the sound of a shattering flask. And you see a thick, viscous kind of oil that seems to have shattered and hit. And you hear laughing and a from the group of goblins.
Oh dear.
Nothing has happened yet, but except that it's on the ground behind you now. Okay, that will lead us to
smell like
Robar.
anything?
I'm sorry. Yes, it smells sulfurous.
Oh, great. All right. Okay, so I don't get any actions, or do I get, like, when when the orc lunged at me and missed? Do I get an attack of opportunity at that point, or?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope,
cool.
that's just part of because it's still got its guard up and so forth.
Gotcha.
Classic orc. I think he just said pull the belt through the salmon, but the goblin has a weird dialect. Yeah, that's more or less. That's more or less right. Yeah, pull the belt through the salmon. Okay, Robar, this is you.
Okay, I can get a shot in from here, right?
Yes.
Right, good. Let's try and shoot the one next to Inga,
Okay. Yeah, the other one would be kind of rough because it's also.
because
down.
I got favoritism, because now I'm playing him. No.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
No. No. Let's move on.
Auto
Let's-
damage. let's forget this ever happened.
let's just
Will is
forget
new
that.
to Dungeons and Dragons, and
I'm a new player.
He's still stringing the bow.
Was that an arrow?
no,
I
wait,
fired?
you didn't. No, you realize you rolled it. You just rolled it. Wait, is that an actual 20 that you rolled it? You rolled a 20-sided die just then? Because it looks like you rolled a 1d6 in my chat.
Yeah. No. Wait. Really? Are you fucking with
Rolling
me?
1d20 CS.
Oh, I didn't see that 1d20. I don't see
Oh,
that
okay.
here in my list. Okay. That's
Oh,
fine.
I thought you just screwed at me. Like,
No, I
wow,
wasn't. I
like,
saw above it. It was
roll a d6, buddy.
that was the 1d6 that you rolled for Inga, but I just saw 6 and a 6, and I was like, okay, right. So never mind that any of this happened. And right, okay. So the arrow misses down the corridor, and you're staying where you are, Robar?
Warning shot. Yes, I will.
All right. The one down below on its feet manages to stumble to its feet. It is grasping a sword and breathing heavily, and it has one hand in front of a particular sensitive spot that it's apparently trying to protect now, which means it kind of swings at you, River, very poorly and wildly, and kind of clangs against the wall. So not very effective. The other one continues to attack you and continues to miss. Man, some terrible rolls from these guys.
I'm liking them, actually.
Yeah,
This is
I know,
good.
I know.
I'm very fond of these.
I'm sure it's working out well for you, but yeah, 9 is not going to get it done.
They're on my
Okay,
level.
so let's see. That leads us to Tawny Bear, and River is up after Tawny Bear.
Then we're off the river.
Okay, right. Still waiting.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
still standing. River's up.
Okay. River is going to. Okay, so.
So both the orcs in front of you are weaponed again, but the guy in front of you is still like not in great shape, although he has now got a weapon
Yeah.
at least.
Okay, she's going to. Is it a disadvantage? Like, is it cool to attack to use one axe for each of them?
Can't do that. No.
Can't do it now? Okay.
No, not for because we talked a little bit about that when you came up with this idea. It has to be concentrated on one
It
target.
has to be concentrated. Okay. All right. Well, she's going
Unless I will say, unless one of them were to die. If you were to kill one of them, you could use your second one on something else.
Okay,
but-
great.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Do
then
that.
that's what. Yeah. So she's going to attack the more vulnerable one first.
Okay.
And either concentrate attacks on him or use the other one on the other one.
Okay.
On the other orc, I mean. So 1.
That's a hit.
Woohoo! And then boing.
Wow. That is a lot of damage. It is not dead, but it looks in big trouble. It's a huge strike to its chest. This huge sucking chest wound. As it stumbles back, still trying to hold one hand down and then one hand up, and it's just not a good scene. It's
Okay.
not dead, but it's looking in very bad shape.
Cool. So I guess she still has to use the other hand axe on him.
Unfortunately, if you want to end his existence, yes.
Let's just hopefully put him out of his misery.
Hit.
Okay. And yeah.
Yeah, you sure do. Just strike in the chest, and then the second one goes into the throat, and clutching at its throat, it sort of slides to the wall and dies. And behind you here, like as all the goblins kind of gasp at once. Okay.
Can she strike an intimidating pose?
She can do that. Well, actually, she has a chance to move. Do you want to stay where you are or move up a spot? Because you theoretically could like stand over his body if you wish.
Yeah. She's gonna stand over his body, stare down the goblins,
Okay.
and say, "You could run."
Okay.
Just as a suggestion.
Okay, go ahead and move your token into that spot. That's funny. Could it go to the throat through the chest? Oh, I mean, maybe? Yeah, that's not exactly what I imagined. Yeah, that's wow. Okay, right. So, all right, that was quite something. Inga, you have a chance to redeem yourself. At this moment.
Does River get to? I'm sorry if I keep using like super old D&D terms, by the way. But
That's
like,
fine.
is a flank still a thing?
A flank is still a thing, but you don't have one yet. Normally, a flank would happen if you are behind the other one, and or you don't have other creatures that are engaging you. Like you would have to have all your focus on that creature, and you don't, obviously, because you got goblins. that you're dealing with.
Most of what I know about D&D, I learned from Order of the Stick.
Yeah,
So.
hey, listen, that's not a terrible place to start. Not a terrible place to
All
start.
right.
All right, so go to it, Inga.
Inga, there it is. Maybe,
Hey, that's a hit. There you go.
15. And then actual damage, please. 6 damage.
Wow, see, there you go. I was just saving up for it. Okay. That was a solid hit. The orc looks in a world of hurt. Not dead, but in very bad shape. Okay. Let's see. And Inga is going to stay again, I assume, where she is. All right. So
Stone.
now, say again.
Stone.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Stone. Yeah, that's right. We forgot about Stone. Actually, Stone should have moved twice at this point. So where do you want Stone to be, River?
Actually, Stone, I think, gives a bonus to my intimidation. So if Stone can actually make it to River in time for her pose striking and staring down the goblins, I think that would be pretty excellent.
Cool. All right.
Especially if he was raising his hackles and growling behind at the same time.
I dig it. On your turn, you can actually try to officially intimidate them. Even as it is, they're not very pleased at what they see. They, nonetheless, though, the two of them in front are going to try to attack you. And you can now see, actually, well, I'll tell you what you see in a minute with the other ones, but the first two ones are going to try to attack you. And they step forward with these bent swords. And these swords, you notice, River, look very much like the swords that you saw in the smithy room. Junky and rusty and lot of tetanus here, you think. A lot of potential tetanus. So, however, a 5 and a 6, clearly they're intimidated by your presence. I mean, I can't blame them. The two in the back are able to, they raise their spears, and they basically, it's high enough that they actually toss them over the heads of the goblins at you. So they weren't able to do it when there were orcs in front of them. But now that there's just goblins in front of them, they toss them over the heads of their compatriots. Those I think are going to hit. That is a 21 and an 18 on you, River. So that I think is going to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's their difficulty is my armor class, right?
They have to match it or beat it.
Correct.
Yeah, they both do.
So that is a total of, that's a pretty solid hit. That is a total of 8 points of damage. Both of these spears hit you. And there is a cackling that they make. And then the one all the way in the back, you can see that he seems to be struggling with something, doing something like cursing. And then you see, and then you see he holds up what looks like a torch of some kind.
Oh God, no!
Okay, so that's what you see. That leads us to those were the goblins who finally.
Wait a minute,
had a decent
did you say
I need
dead?
to lower my hit points. So there was 8 points of damage.
8 points, yes. Let's see. Yeah, what's a mouse that go? Yeah, exactly. Okay, that leads us to Robar.
All right, let's see if I can do you on solid here, Inga.
Okay.
23.
Woo!
Very palpable.
3 damage.
Just enough. Just enough. So you actually hit yourself. You hit him in the side, and he kind of, and he tries to grab at it, and then slips and falls and hits himself in the head, and lies still. And he lies dead. And that brings us up to Tawny Bear, which means we move on still, Tawny Bear? Sorry, are you nodding? I'm not looking.
I am nodding.
Okay, you're nodding. Good. Okay, that brings us up to River. So, River, you have a couple of spears in you right now, and the orc next to you just fell, and you have these 5 goblins, and the one in the back has got this torch and cackling.
So, all right, and the one at the back has the torch. So presumably
all the way to the back.
All he needs to do is lob it behind me at where the flask shattered.
If you had to guess.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And he's cackling. She's trying to figuring at this point, having taken a ton of damage, is she still able to be intimidating at this point?
Oh, sure. Might even look more intimidating.
Cool. Excellent.
Right. Bristly, blood running down,
Yeah.
Just
Can she...
Spears up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
She does have advantage to intimidate. She's proficient at intimidation.
Okay. You're absolutely going to make an intimidation check. Now, you said that Stone does give you a bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not sure how that reckons in the sheet.
That's okay.
Or wait, is that true, or did I?
Well, let's see if it's
I might be imagining that. That might have been if I had to, if that was something that I had to make a decision about, like what he was going to help me with. That might not have been what I ended up going with. But for flavor, nevertheless, he's standing there, intimidatingly.
Let's go with that for the moment. So go ahead and make your intimidation check, and then you'll be adding your whatever that skill says. So it should be it should give you the number because it's proficient. It should be marked off on your sheet as such. So if you just click on the skill, it should take that into account.
Okay, great. And can she do this and still command Stone to attack after if necessary?
So intimidation is going to be the action. It's literally like this is where you put all your effort into stand down, you type of thing.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay. All right. Let's see whether they can withstand that. It's pretty intimidating to me. Let's see. Well, they're trying to be brave, but not brave enough. All right. So they sort of look at you, and the two in front say, "It's something about belt and salmon, as classic would say." And they sort of back up into these two, and the two in front start yammering at the ones in front, and they're pushing back. The two in back don't seem to have been as intimidated, so you have these two in front that are basically yelling at the two in back to let them go, and the two in the back are yelling them to let them, go, and the one in back is yelling at all four of them. So they're basically at the moment sort of yelling at each other. So what you might have done is distract them for sure, and these two in front do not seem to want a part of you at the moment.
Okay.
How far back did they move?
Just like 5 feet. That's about all they could move. They would have moved farther, but their compatriots are not letting them through.
Is that far enough to activate an attack of opportunity?
No. They are basically trying to. It's sort of the equivalent of disengaging, because they didn't move far enough back. Other than that, however, if River was to attack next turn, these two goblins are going to be focused. Are not going to be. She'll get an advantage on attacking the two in front because they're not interested in dealing with her at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why it pays to learn foreign languages, exactly. Okay, so...
That's why Tawny Bear has tongues of many people.
Yes, indeed. Do you want Stone to move up next to you, River, or do you want Stone to stay where he is and have Inga move when she goes?
Inga is next, so...
Right, but you move Stone, so that's why I'm asking, because you move Stone with you.
Oh, yeah, I don't want him to get... Well, no, it would... Is he going to, if I move him next to me, that's going to obstruct Inga, isn't it?
Well, she wouldn't be able to end up in that square. She could move through it, but she couldn't end up in that square. So, you actually could technically slide over, and I'll show you what I mean. And then she could move, Stone, he could move up, and then Inga could theoretically move up there. There is just enough room to do that if you wanted that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Okay. This is assuming that Inga wants to do this, Will? Is this...
Inga's totally down for this, yeah.
Okay. So then Inga can jump forward, and as Inga, you will also get advantage on this goblin in front of you because it is not interested in fighting at the moment.
Get him. 21.
All right, that's straight up hit.
13. That's
oh my
more
god,
like
you just lit wham, head straight off the shoulders, like flies up, hits the goblin next to it. The goblin next, like, is even more freaked out than it was before. Yeah,
Told you to run.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Now they get to go. So this one's reaction is to basically scramble wildly away. Now at this point you can get an attack of opportunity if you want on this one, River, because this one is literally just like.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
So go ahead and do that at just a regular, your typical attack.
Yeah.
With your axes.
Axes.
Okay, so now this is, you're not going to get advantage on this as they're scrambling away, because this is actually not even happening on your turn, but you do hit with that second one. So first one is a miss, second one hits.
A glancing blow.
Yeah, sort of like, you slice its back a little bit. Okay, and it stumbles into its fellows. This one, sort of cursing wildly, comes forward, and basically as this one goes bolting, trying to stumble down the tunnel, these two step forward, as I said, not yet intimidated. They pull forward their bent swords. One on the bottom is going to try to attack you, River. Let's see. 19.
Yeah.
That is 4 more points of damage with its sword.
Oh, Christ. Right.
And then the other one is going to slash at Stone, actually. But is, I think, well, let's see, 11? Is that going to hit Stone's armor class? Do we...
Let me check.
I'm looking also.
11,
15.
no, 11's a miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it misses. Stone growls at it menacingly, presumably. Okay. Now this one in the back, laughing, tosses its torch. So let's see. Okay. That was not a good time for it to critically miss its torch throw. So what it does was, so it throws its, and then it throws, and as it throws, it slips on the blood and the head. So basically, like, accidentally kicks the head of the goblin in front of it that was rolling around. And so it throws the torch straight into the back of the goblin in front of it. Like, strikes in the back. And it, so it begins to flail wildly, catches on fire, yells at the other one, is sort of yammering. So there is now a flaming goblin in front of you, and a prone goblin in back of him, and a goblin looking at the flaming goblin, sort of like, what the, type of thing is going on. And that will lead us.
Now's not the time for your stupid magic tricks.
That will lead us to Rabar.
All right, as he screws that one up.
And Tawny Bear will be on deck after that.
Like, Freddy can't see him at this point, right? Do I have a line of sight?
You just right. All you heard was a yammering, and then a cursing, and then you see some flickering as if of light, flame.
Okay. Okay. Are you guys all right down there? And then I'll move to about here and get my eyes on the situation.
Yes, you now see the situation. Inga next to Stone, next to the river, a goblin on fire, a goblin behind him prone, and a goblin on the southern wall kind of like staring around wild, like sort of like what has happened in my life, basically.
River has 2 spears sticking out of her.
Yes, you also see that. River looks like she's been messed up a bit.
I just say, get out of there, guys. River, get out of there. And I will lay down some covering fire if I can get a shot on one of these goblins.
You can get a shot over both Stone and Inga, actually. So you can. Do you want to hit the flaming goblin or the one that's not?
Yeah,
flaming?
let's hit the flaming goblin because he's a bigger target, easier to see. An 11.
Let's see whether or not. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, that's.
Being on fire doesn't count as guiding bolt, does it?
Yeah, no,
right?
I was going to say not so much. That still actually is a miss. In fact, it might even have missed just because it was stumbling around so crazily. You were trying to get on a moving target. So you do not hit, unfortunately. Are you staying where you are, Robar?
Yeah, I pretty move a little bit further up, and I'm like, get out of there.
Okay. Tawny Bear, you're staying where you are still?
Yeah, a little help down here.
He's starting to get worried that they haven't come back yet.
Okay.
River.
So
She's got 2 spears in her.
what? And so he's gonna.
How many spears? I mean, one's fine, but 2.
If it was 1, it would be okay.
River, meanwhile, saying, "Get back! Just go! Just go with the Hobbit. Just take him." And seems
He's
more
gone.
That's actually a good point, didn't he?
Yeah,
Anywhere
and
close
she
to anything.
just. Yeah, where is Dindy? Well, anyways, but she's just kind of, she looks totally committed to this situation in spite of the fact that she is in a really bad way. Is there any disadvantage to...
Well, hold up. Let's have Tawny Bear finish, and then I'll talk
sorry.
about the disadvantaging. That's okay. You're up next anyway, but go ahead, Tawny. What are you...
So I think he can get right about here.
I'd say that's right.
And then he, at this point, can see.
Yep.
Actually, can he see?
He sees flickering firelight. He sees River looks pretty hurt. He sees Stone. He doesn't see Inga, and he sees Robar kind of with this sort of bemused, what the hell is going on? Yeah.
It's pretty
More or
well.
less. What's up, Burner? So that's what he sees.
Spears, Tawny Bear. Let's pass.
2! That's one more than 1.
She didn't have those when she left. She must have picked them up somewhere.
Some strange new fighting style. Just impales herself with spears and then goes into a fight.
I don't know where she got those spears from. really nice spears.
Is she part hedgehog? I don't understand.
I wonder if she'll let us have one each.
Oh, you're gonna start calling me the pincushion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So what is Tawny Bear doing?
That's as far as he can get.
Oh, it's as far as you can get. Okay. So if
You
I'm
really
so,
can't do much because you can only heal on a short rest. So
Yeah. That's all good. I didn't know. I know there was something mysterious happening. I didn't know if this was the moment or not.
Oh.
But so is there? I mean, she's obviously probably grievously hurt. Does that mean she has a disadvantage on her attacks?
No.
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 Wow. Okay.
You're made of stronger stuff than that.
Excellent. Well, the thing is, at this point, it would make sense for Stone to attack on her behalf, probably. But she's just so damn ornery. I think she might just. Let me just look at Stone's sheet again for a second. So, I mean, his attack is to bite.
Is it not a bonus attack for him?
It's
or a
not,
bonus
sadly.
It's
Not
not.
yet. He'd
One or
get
the
there
other.
eventually. Yeah, so it's got to be either she tells him to attack or she attacks herself.
Okay, gotcha.
So and so one goblin is still on fire
Yep.
at this point.
Yep.
Which one is that?
It is. Let's see. It is this one. It is the northernmost one.
The northernmost one's on fire. Okay, so and she'd managed a glancing blow on which one?
On the one down here, which was the. Oh no, I'm
Great.
sorry. No, I take that back.
No?
No, on this
Oh.
one, it was the retreating one.
Oh, the retreating one.
Which
Okay,
is
great.
which is still rapidly retreating.
Okay, cool. So, oh, God, what? Just out of curiosity, what like, does death happen when there are no more hit points, or is it like an incapacitation?
It is unconsciousness. You enter an
Unconscious.
incapacitated state, and then there are death saving throws and other things happen
Right.
at that point.
Great. Okay, she's just gonna keep attacking.
Okay.
So, yeah, she's gonna attack this dude,
Okay.
the southernmost one.
Okay. Well, those are 2 hits that you have.
Hooray! Let me switch over. So, one.
The first one is maximum damage.
Right, because the first one was a critical hit, so the first one's
Oh,
max
great.
damage. And actually, so that relates to what we were talking about before. So, so that bottom. So you were aiming for the bottom one first, I believe.
Yeah.
So the bottom one, you kill with that shot.
Woohoo!
And right, and then that leads you to now you do that second one is not a critical hit, but is just a regular hit on the one up top. So now you can roll damage on that.
Great.
And down goes the second one. Just death. Both of them die. This one behind is kind of like, and then does that moment that I talked about before with the, in Princess Bride, the moment where you sort of like, he sees the Count is like, sees him, puts a sword up, and then just turns and like runs like directly in the other direction, following his compatriot. They are not impressed. Okay. As they run this way, you all hear this, all right, and you hear this great roar and the sound of yammering coming from actually 2 passageways. One of them is down here to the southwest, and one of them is over here to the northeast. And you hear the sound of many feet slapping on stone.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Out of here now.
All right, so all of you
My
guys go ahead and run this way. Now, once you get past the purple X, then Tawny Bear, you can do what you were telling me about once the
Then
rest
we
of you pass
save
that
and
spot.
we teleport out of the encounter.
Right, yeah. His gruel is actually a teleporting, twice-baked honey teleporter. No,
Right.
it's a cake that's bigger on the inside. No. So, if I could somehow bring in a TARDIS cake, I mean, Cubicle 7 does do Doctor Who.
TARDIS cake earlier.
Hey, listen.
Actually, I baked it later and brought it back in.
Right.
Do you want to grab Inga as well?
You're right.
So, wait, everything was going well, Terry, but we forgot to bring Inga. So maybe she lived. Oh,
We'll
man,
never
okay.
know.
She's still dressed as one of them, so.
All right,
Yeah.
so you guys get past that spot. Tawny, what are you doing?
Tony has taken one of the very large barrels of cooking oil, and as soon as everybody clears, he just shoves it over and just spreads oil all across this hallway. And then as everybody's moving back past the fire, grabs a something and just hurls the flaming doohickey back into the hallway and just ignites the whole thing, so the entire hallway is engulfed in flame.
Okay, now as you do that, you hear the hallways beginning to shake. I want you guys to move yourselves all to here, and then as you do that, I want all of you guys to make, please, let's make it a dexterity saving throw, because essentially what you hear is, for those of you, since it's coming close to Christmas time, all of you will know one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, Die Hard. There is this sequence where he says, he drops the computer down into the elevator shaft and basically says, take this under advisement. And then the big plume of flame comes up the shaft. That's what happens here. So there's this big plume of flame that is coming down this way, and you guys are going to try to jump forward to avoid it as it's coming down towards you. So I need everybody here to make, please, saving throws for me. All dexterity saving throws. That's unfortunate. We'll talk about Tiny Bear in a minute.
12.
Oh god. No, that was a check.
No.
That was a check. You want to make a save. You want to make a
sorry.
save.
I'm so sorry. Let me do that.
No,
That's okay.
you shouldn't be sorry, because that would not have worked out for you. There you go.
much
That's what I'm talking about. You like parkour forward, no problem. Okay, that's you, Robar, with a 12, and then I need you to make Ingus for me, please, Will.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting I'm playing 2 characters.
That's okay. No, it's no problem.
They should also call me
Dexterity
Moose
16.
Okay, so everybody, and it makes sense actually, because everybody, with the exception of Tawny Bear, who was the last one to leave, Tawny Bear, you are sort of blown off your feet by this explosion.
God.
Let's see the damage that gets done.
We don't look at the explosion as we run.
You take 3 points of damage. Wow. Yeah, exactly. So you're Bilbo singed after dealing with smog. That's what we're talking about. Like, you're stumbling down the hallway as the flame is shooting up behind you, and you hear this yammering sound. You guys continue to sort of run as time goes. And then as you cross out of the cavern, and I'm going to stop the music here. As you come out of the cavern, you hear a whisper in the darkness, and you hear someone say, "I don't know what you did down there, but follow me." And as you look, you see the appearance of the guy whose name I clearly remember, Belgar, that's right. You see Belgar holding a torch aloft. This is, remember, the guy that was back, he was the other Bjorning, who was basically heading the group of guards that were basically protecting Dindy. And you notice that next to him is Bill, the bowman, who's still there. And so, with this wide-eyed look in his face. And so you chase after him, assuming that you do. Actually, I should ask you that first. I shouldn't assume. Are you all stumbling after him? Can I assume?
No, I hate them now.
Okay. So you guys run after him, bolting away, and you hear this, and it's very quiet. And then you hear as you're running that these explosions are getting closer. And you noticed when you came down here that these caverns were very narrow, as I mentioned, and also very damp. But there was also this smell which got more strong as you arrived at these caverns. It would not surprise you if there was some natural sulfurous gas that basically was down here. Whatever it is, you seem to have lit it all, because as you're running, you can see like as it's getting closer. And you guys literally get out past the crack where the waterfall had fallen over, you may remember, and managed to get just out past the wall as flames blow through the crack. So you're standing next to the waterfall as flames blow through the crack and the water is sort of falling over it. And then there is this huge hissing as steam comes up from the fire having hit the water. And then there is just an eerie silence that remains. They found Mount Boom. Yeah, more or less. That's what they found was Mount Boom. All right. You guys make your way back up together up to the sunlight. It takes a number of hours, but you're able to do it. There is no pursuit, and in fact, there is a dead silence that follows you. And Belgar, as you surface, says to himself, "I think you might have killed the whole damn nest." and you sort of pull yourself back up into what is now, I shouldn't have said sunlight, actually, you pull yourself up into back what is now early evening. A calm has settled across the land, and in the distance there are just a few stars that are beginning to blink into the heavens above you. And you see, lying on the ground, as you climb above in the hole, you see Dindy himself. He says, "Oh, my friends, I did get to you in time." And Belgar says, "I heard Dindy screaming wildly. We'd come down here to find you. And, well, we weren't that far away, but if we hadn't heard him yelling, we never would have been able to make it the rest of the way here. We came a long way to find you, you know, lad." And Dindy says, I know, but, well, I guess I had a little bit of hope. Maybe." And he claps you on the arm, which is still scorched, Tony Bear. So you're like, "Oh, ow."
Actually, Tony,
Yeah, exactly. Sort of stumbles over. That's right. Okay.
Let's get those spears out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping that at some point while we were parkouring everywhere that we like cut off.
I think you were able to at least do that.
Yeah.
You were able to at least do that, but the rest of your wounds can be tended. Now, you don't yet have time for a long rest, but you will in just a minute, and I'll explain, or you will be able to theoretically, and I'll explain that in a second. You can get a short rest in, though, so you can start healing yourselves up a little bit if you like. But as you look around, you see that the caravan has been reassembled. They have not been idle during the hours that you were down below. So they've actually reassembled the wagon, and the remaining guards, and Belgar, have put things together. And so they, with you, begin to set out back to the east, carrying Indy. And as you head back, you notice that there are a couple of more people that have come to greet you on the way, a couple other of Bjornings. Apparently your encounter with the guards at the ford at the southern tip of the river has, not this river, the actual river, has allowed them to find out about you and basically send more people. And about 10 days after you began, thanks to this escort, basically, that you have, you find yourselves back at the Easterly Inn, and the warmest welcome that you find yourself likely to find east of the mountains. As you enter, it is early evening as you manage to get back in to the Easterly Inn, and there is a great shout of triumph. You see Dodie, who stumbles over to his brother, tears streaming down his face. Dindy and Dodie embrace. There's a great cry of from music and ale. You begin to hear music playing. I swear you do. Music. I know there's music that you hear, and boy, is it great music.
I'm sure there is.
Just any minute. It's
that.
really super awesome. That's happening right here, like I was talking about.
Is that Freebird?
Time. Yes.
Oh,
there you go. And the sound of music fills the air as Dindy and Dodie are there. And a couple of days afterwards, you have a great feast thrown in your honor. Dindy is still pretty shaken by his ordeal, but good Hobbit food does wonders to manage these things. And you're able to get food and drink there. Of course, you don't pay for anything. Everybody obviously is doing everything for you. And Dodie comes to you at the end of this great feast a couple of days later and says, sits down with you and says, "I want to thank all of you for doing what you did to help Dindy. I didn't know when we first talked if you'd be able to manage it, but, well, something about me made me think, you know what? If Bilbo could do it, then certainly these ones could too. And look, you found your way back here through some good luck and, I guess, some good management. I'm really happy that you did it, and I want to thank you for all your help. As promised, I've got you your reward." And he hands over the reward that he had promised you, which was... Let me double check. Yes. So he promises, gives you 40 silver pieces to each of you, including you, the river, even though you weren't originally included in the bargain. But he says that he owes as much to you as he owes to everybody else. He says that he will consider all your future employment as caravan guards, if you so choose. And he says, and moreover, the Easterly Inn is open to you if ever you come back this way again. I'd be pleased if you take it as a personal favor if you consider this one of your spots. Perhaps we can give you a little bit of rest, a home away from home, you might say. And as you're all sort of, gathered around, kind of celebrating, River, you find yourself outside with Stone and with Tawny Bear, sort of looking up at the stars, and Dindy comes out to you and smiles up at you, Tawny Bear. He says, "So, I guess you'll be on your way pretty soon then."
Most likely, yes.
He says, "I want to thank you for, well, all of you, but I want to thank you in particular for giving me some hope. I don't think I've always had some of that, It hasn't always been the easiest life to have. I've always pretended to be optimistic even when I wasn't. But now, I really think I am. I think I could do lots of things if I wanted to. So thank you. I don't know what Dodie promised you, but if I can ever help you with anything, please let me know. I don't know if there's anything a Brandy Buck could do that would be as great as what you have, but whatever it is, I'm happy to provide."
All that I ask is that as you go through life, you remember one very simple rule that I try to live by.
What's that?
When pain is shared, it is halved, and when joy is shared, it is doubled.
And he smiles and nods and kind of thinks about it and then says, "Well, in that case, my friends, I say double the joy for all of us." And he pats Stone on the head and shakes your hand, River, and gives you a little punch in the arm as what he can reach of it, Tawny Bear.
And Tawny Bear dies.
Yes. Yeah, Tawny Bear dies, that's right. Robar, you and Inga are actually inside the inn, sort of looking out at the stars beyond. And as you're sitting there, one person comes to you, Robar, and it is a cloaked figure. Seems to be someone of mannish height, and hands you a rolled up scroll and says, "For you, master, it's some word of your kin." And then turns with a swirl of his cloak and pushes through the dancing patrons and is gone. It's a sealed scroll.
Huh. I look at the scroll. I look to Inga.
It has the Staunton family seal, which you recognize, but you have not seen it for decades.
Hesitantly, Robar will open it up.
And it is inscribed to Robar Staunton. It says, "The return is nigh. You must be a part of it."
I think we have to go home, Inga.
And with Inga looking at you and you looking back at her, you're going to bring this session to a close. I do want to tell the party, by the way, you have not yet leveled up. You're not going to level up after this adventure, but you have completed, first of all, of Leaves and Stewed Hobbit. So first of all, congratulations on that. Secondly, you guys are now going to be going into what we call a fellowship phase. Now, we'll talk more about this later off stream, but a fellowship phase basically gives you an opportunity to do several things that you could only do during downtime, essentially. Sometimes that involves opening a sanctuary, and you cannot get a long rest except at a sanctuary. So sanctuaries are important. Right now, you've only got one of them, and that is that is Lake Town. Is the only sanctuary you have. I'm sorry, I take that back. And Woodland Hall is also a sanctuary, yes. So you have two of them. One of the fellowship actions that you could take if you wish is to open up the Easterly Inn as a sanctuary. Basically, that means cleaning out around it. So basically, clearing out monsters and everything and making it so that it'll be a safe place to stay. So you could, if you wish, use your fellowship phase doing that. And if you're successful, then you'll be able to use that to take long rests and so forth in the future. So there's that. That is one fellowship phase. You could, if you wish, try to Sometimes you can train. You can sometimes heal corruption and heal points of shadow. You may remember that especially Inga picked up a couple of points of shadow. And one fellowship thing that you may want to try taking on, it's totally up to you, Robar, is receiving a title. And if you look that up, you'll be able to see that there's a chance to basically talk to people about gathering more information about your heritage. So we'll talk more about it off stream, but it's basically something which when we talk next, I want you guys to be telling me what you've done during your fellowship phase, and then we will move into the next part of the adventure. And by the way, next part of the adventure is called Kin Strife and Dark Tidings. Is the next one. So.
Oh no.
So that's what we've got.
We've got to meet your kin. Next chapter is called Kin Strife. And your family's dead.
I can't imagine what they're. I'm sure they're totally unrelated. But anyway, great job though tonight, guys. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Emma. What's up?
So for short rests, how many hit points do we heal?
Oh yes. So.
Spend hit die, right?
Over the amount of time we've been, I mean, we're talking days, right?
Right. At this point, I think it's reasonable to say that you would have your hit points back up to full. You've had enough short rest cycles that you can do that. But you would not get back your Warden's Gift until the long rest, so that's why I want to make sure we're clear about the Sanctuary rules, that's all. But your hit points are back. But otherwise, this was great, guys. It was, and it's funny, I did not know it was going to go down that way, but then Tony Bear was just like, I'm waiting on the cooking oil, and he's privately messaging me. At one point, I actually said okay accidentally to Amal, and I meant to say it to him, and I was like, you, not you, never mind you. Because we had been chatting privately also. But great job, guys. This is a lot of fun, and you saved a hobbit from goblins, and we
saved a hobbit, and then we eradicated.
You eradicated them, and that was not something I was expecting, honestly. But I was like, well, that's the way it would go. So anyway, but it was ended up being a really good set.
One more point, Tawny Bear would have gone down.
Yeah, that was real. I know. I was worried about that because I was like, you're gonna have to drag him, and that's gonna. Yeah.
I thought that we were all saying, oh, only 3 points of damage. That's fine.
No, he only had 4 to begin with.
4 points of that.
I was like, when you missed the dex check, I'm like, oh boy. Well.
Yeah. Oh God.
What I was figuring was going to happen is that the explosion would go off and it would throw him forward, and regardless of how many points of damage it did, it would just fling him off into that pit, and he would just be gone.
Oh yeah.
I was prepared for that possibility.
Yeah. That was it was not that close. That's when I should have done the check. Is right there at the waterfall. That would have been good. Yeah. But no. But great job. And I'm sorry that Terry missed it. But Inga did not die. So I think that Will did a great job. Inga did not die. Yeah. She did not perish. So as always, we'll go in reverse directions. We will be back here in a couple of weeks, but I will start with Amal. Amal, thank you so much. Pleasure as always.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Where can the fine people find you on or offline next?
Online, you can find me on Twitter as Tithenai, Tithenai. You can also find me on my website, amalelmohtar.com, so amalelmohtar.com. Offline, if you're in Ottawa today, there's going to be an event at the downtown branch of the public library at Metcalfe and Laurier, where I'm going to be on a panel with a few other people about the importance of diversity in literature, stuff like that. That's at, I believe, I want to say 7:30 tonight, but double check the Ottawa Writers Festival website for that. And I think that's about it for this year, unless, of course, you go to Confusion, which is a really, really great con in near Detroit in January. I'm, at this point, intending to be there as well, and really looking forward to it because it's an amazing con.
That's cool. I actually got into that last year, and then I wasn't able to go for a variety of reasons, and I was like, I don't know if I can go this year because of travel, but I keep hearing, everyone tells me how great it is, so, you know.
Sorry.
Everyone, no, it's okay. I was just saying that everyone tells me how great Confusion is all the time, so
It's wonderful. It's so relaxing. It's a really good con.
Yeah, I've heard many, many good things about it. Did you, by the way, just very quickly, I don't know if you saw this, did you see that Ad Astra, Amal, rescheduled themselves to the same weekend as ReaderCon? In July? I'm like, what the?
Why would they do that?
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, not only are you 2 months ahead of when you normally are, but then you do that? Like, what? So now I've got to figure out, like, anyway, but.
No, I mean, I went to Ad Astra once and it was fine, but I really love ReaderCon, and I mean, I'm on the programming committee for ReaderCon.
Yeah. Oh,
so
I didn't
if it
know that.
came down-
Well. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been
I haven't-
rescheduled to ReaderCon.
Yeah, I haven't been active on it for the last 2 years because of PhD nonsense, but I intend to kind of be a little bit more active this coming year. So I don't think I could. Yeah, if it came to a decision between those, I would.
It'll
choose
be ReaderCon. Well, it's probably going to have to be ReaderCon for me also because it's Boston. It's a lot closer to me. So oh man. Anyway, I was just like, God damn it. but it was a pleasure, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. I would wish you Thanksgiving, but again, the Canadians have already done theirs, so I will just wish you happy couple of normal weeks. And
thank you so much.
And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Of course, Terry, Chaotix just said in chat that Terry is going to should have her internet back tomorrow, which is great news. That means that we will be able to have Terry back with us very soon, and there is news coming about stuff relating to Terry and this channel and stuff that I can't talk about, and myself, but I can't talk about it yet, but I am very excited to make the announcement soon, I hope. So be hopefully next 8 to 10 days. So be on the lookout for that. But you should be following Terry at all the things because Terry's a really fine cartoonist, and actually next up for her as well is going to be doing the tokens for River and Stone. So we're going to get those. We're going to get to see them in Roll20 after she does her magic. Moving right along though, Will, great job today as well. Seriously, excellent job in managing 2 characters.
Seriously.
So thank you, Will. And where will the fine people see you next, sir?
Thank you. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting to playing her, and I'm so glad that she is alive because if she died, I would feel so bad.
Could never go back to Germany. That's for damn sure.
I was worried about that.
Yeah. None more so than me. But yeah, no. So it was fun. Thank you for the game, everyone. You'll find me tomorrow on Encounter Roleplay, that channel, what I run, where I play D&D far too much. And you'll see me at Dragon Meet in the UK. I decided the other day that I should go, so I'll go meet some real people. And there should be a band of about 20 of us walking around any one time, a big band of nerds. We're all going to meet up, and if you guys are in the UK, December 2nd, and in fact, Harry said you might even make it.
Ooh.
So,
I demand pics and selfies and all that.
Yeah. So hopefully she can. But who knows if everything that she's got going on at the moment. But I will be there, and you can find me over on Encounter Roleplay all the time. I'm gonna go sleep probably.
That sounds good. You're gonna join. You're gonna go back to your Michael Jackson video set. And again, don't forget, folks. You'll also see Will with me on Friday doing Masters of the Dungeon with Dave from Digital DM and Askren from Exploding Dice. That is always a good time. Moving right along, last but certainly not least, is our good friend Tren. Tren, nice work today. I enjoyed some of the role playing you got to do that wasn't just babysitting, and your plan worked. We wasn't sure you were gonna make it out, but
There's a lot of fine sitting around you did there.
Yeah, I had a feeling that the oil would work, but I was just like, and we're coming back around to me again. Oh god. No. Because I'm thinking I've got 4 hit points. I don't want to go running into combat right now.
right.
Because then they're gonna have to carry me, and they don't know about the plan because it's not told them.
Right.
But eventually I was like, I can't just sit here. Things are getting very dire down there. I can't just sit here. Because at one point,
2 spears.
it was like when
2 spears.
Counting the number of spears was tremendous. 2 spears.
it's like
2
so
spears
Arv's like
of
8 points of damage, and then Amal's like dead. I'm like, what? And I was like, no, oh, you weren't dead.
I wasn't dead. No.
It was like as soon as the word dead came out of your mouth, I was like, oh, no. The plan. Oh my god! But it worked out, and we're okay, and we're fine, and we didn't have stewed hobbit, and it was all cool. When we started splitting up and going through different things, I'm like, no, God.
It did consider the possibility that it was going to be another session worth of going through the caves, depending on where you guys went. So I wasn't sure.
I was thinking, okay, if Tawny had been there when they found the blacksmith shop, it would have been like, how are we going to destroy them? Throw them down the well. Throw them down the pit. That's all we need to worry about. We don't need to put them in the fires. Throw them down the pit. But then we have to carry hundreds of swords.
Exactly.
This
is a much better plan.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. Craziness.
It's good time. So we will see you next, sir. At what?
On Saturday.
Yes. No, not Thursday. Right, because you're Thanksgiving now. So Saturday with, IAB as
With
we
you.
continue trying to track down the lost Ryuvi, and that campaign is getting crazy too. So definitely you folks should check that out. And remember, I'm going to let these folks go, but don't leave people in chat because I'm about to do a giveaway here. I'm going to give away a copy of the Player's Handbook and a copy of the Lore Master's Guide, courtesy of Cubicle 7. So I'm going to give away copies of those in just a minute. But before I do that, thanks to my players. Great job today, guys. It was a lot of fun as always. Happy Thanksgiving to the stateside folks, and for the rest of you, happy just normal, weeks. And I will see you in various places that we've just mentioned. But thank you so much. Can we get some love chat for our players? Thank you to Tren, to Will, and to Amal. Thank you so much, and I will catch you guys soon.
Thank you. This is so awesome. Ah.
Awesome times. Bye, guys.
Ciao. Choose.
All right. Ryuvi is too busy playing Twitch. That's exactly right. There goes that love, where we got all the love and the chats and the things like that. Good stuff. Okay. All right. Let us get out of that. Exited. Good. Thank you very much, X5, for all of the hypes. I appreciate it. Okay. So with that said, we are now going to do a giveaway, folks. My webcam is just not working, and it's driving me up a wall, and I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. I do not like it. I do not like the lack of... Yeah, there we go. That's more sensible color, anyway. Okay, well, I will worry about this at a later point, which is not now. Okay, so I am going to do a giveaway right now, folks. We're going to do a giveaway for these two items. And the first thing is going to be for a player guide. And again, this is courtesy of Cubicle 7, which are the ones who made this awesome Adventures of Middle-earth system. So I'm going to do a giveaway now for that. And there we go. There are the giveaway copies. So this first one is going to be for the player's guide, and then there's the lore master's guide. Now you can't win both of them, so this is just to win the first one. And I would ask, if you've won this guide from me before, please don't get it again. This is just the PDF, of course. But I'm going to do a giveaway, and let's see. The way we will do this will be... I'm going to do a word here, and I'm going to ask you to put in the word. And the word is going to be, let's see. I think this is appropriate for today. All right, fire in the hole. Please type fire in the hole, all one word, if you would like to win a copy of the player's guide. Please type in the word fire in the hole if you would like to win a copy of the player's guide. And again, this is, you guys are going for this. The Player's Guide, Adventures of Middle-earth Player's Guide. This is going for this. This is the PDF copy. It is normally, I think, a $35 value, I want to say, or $40 value. So this is really nice of Cubicle 7 to do this. So please type in fire in the hole. That's what I thought, Tren, yes. Yeah, exactly. So please type in fire in the hole if you're interested in the Player's Guide. Again, I have a Lore Master's Guide, which I'm giving away right after this. So please type that in. Also, while we're waiting, I should mention also that this is the end of the vote for the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. So if you haven't had a chance to do so already, there we go. If you haven't had a chance to do so already, you should also get your vote in here. Right now, Portal is winning by a pretty large margin over Binding of Isaac and Star Trek Elite Force 2, but you should get your vote in now because I'm going to be closing down this vote at the end of the session today, and then I will be playing this next Tuesday. So this game that you were picking, I will be playing next Tuesday on the channel. So you should do that. No, I was going to say no. Thank you for fixing that, for getting that fixed, but no. Okay, last call. Last call on this. Last call on going for the fire in the hole. Last call. We got 5 people in on that giveaway. So last call. Type in fire in the hole if you are interested in winning a copy of the Player's Guide. You think Portal won? Yeah, I think it's pretty likely. I'd say it's pretty likely. Oh, man. That was a cool set piece. It was fun doing that set piece at the end there. I was hoping for the best, except I got worried because the set piece was great. And then I'm like, unless Tawny Bear dies, in which case that's going to be unfortunate. But 5 people, it's like a 40% chance. What's also, hey, Pyron Jade, I'm sorry that I didn't say hi before, but hello. Man, I just love D&D and I love Tolkien. So this combination together is just great. I just really, really dig it. I've been having a great time with all the campaigns that I play. Yes. Okay. So there we go. All right. And so that Tetris melody. Here we go. And the giveaway is, the winner is Classicor. Classicor. What does Classicor know about any of this kind of stuff? So the winner is Classicor. Congratulations, Classicor. Classicor is the winner of the Player's Guide. And I'm actually going to mark down. I'm going to mark down on my to-do list. Okay. Pay our vocalists. Send copy of Player's Guide to Classicor. I know where Classicor lives online, so to speak. Pull the belt through the salmon! That was really funny. Yes, so congratulations, Classicor. You have won. Okay, second giveaway, folks. Second giveaway is going to be for this, the Lore Master's Guide. Now, this is really cool, but I do want to remind everybody that if you are going to only be playing this game, a lot of this is going to have stuff which is sort of Lore Master only, so just be aware of, the possibility of spoilers and stuff like that. This also serves as basically like the Middle-earth monster manual. So it's basically, there's a bestiary in there, and then there's a bestiary, and then there's also the lore, like the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, but again, really, really awesome book, so you guys should check that out as well. There will be another Arvanaut Idol, but not until next year. Classicor. So now the second giveaway for this word, we're going to do admin. Okay, we're going to do this one. Please type in the word Dindy Lives. And again, the only one not eligible for this is Classicor. But everyone else can type in Dindy Lives if you would like a PDF copy of the Lore Master's Guide. A lot of interesting stuff in the Lore Master's Guide, too, as well. There is a map to Lake Town right at the very front. You got this map to Lake Town right up there. And then in the back, you have a copy of... In the back, you've got a copy of that awesome map that you've got there. And then you've got lots and lots of these. Here you go. Here are all these beasts. You got your marsh hag right there. You've got a Snaga tracker right there. You've got some of the Misty Mountain goblins. Of course, you have Addercops. So you got a lot of stuff to contend with, as it were. Dindy Lives. Okay, so we've got 3. We've got Shalom, X5, and Backburner. Anyone else for wanting to win this? Anyone else who wishes to win? And while they're doing this, we're going to close down that vote on the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. The winner on the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. Let's see what it is. All right, the winner is going to be... The winner is Portal, and this one is not close. Last couple of months have been very close, but Portal is the winner, so I will be playing Portal. I have never played Portal, so I will be playing Portal next week. Tuesday next week, I will be playing Portal on this channel and playing that game, so we will see how that is. I'm looking forward to it. So Portal will be next week. So congratulations to Portal for winning the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. Okay, cool, Classicor. Sounds good, man. Yes, Portal. I have never played it, but I am looking forward to it. Okay. All right, and let's see, the last call. Last call here, last call. We've only got 3 people in on this, people. Only got 3 entrants in on this, people. So if you want a copy of this awesome book, courtesy of Cubicle 7, now is the time to get involved. And again, many thanks to Cubicle 7 for doing this. We've given away now, I believe, 3 copies each of the Player's Guide and 3 copies of the Lore Master's Guide total since we began the campaign. So they've been very generous. So thank you so much to Cubicle 7 for doing that. Again, rapidly becoming one of my favorite companies on the market. I mean, there's so many good ones, like Harebrained Schemes is awesome, and Stoic Studios, and Almost Human, and Larian, and obviously CD Projekt, and just many other, great, like, different studios and great places that I'm big fans of. But I just really like what Cubicle 7 has done in terms of their support of the hobby, and the way that they're handling it, which I just think is much more sensible than doing it the way that is other companies have sometimes done it, in terms of gouging you financially for everything you can. So I do want to say, if you guys want to get more things from them, like, for example, I got the Rovanian Region Guide. This is really cool too. And I'm going to be using this a lot when we get to the Mirkwood campaign. But the Rovanian Region Guide, this is something which I was able to pre-order. They immediately send you the PDF, like the next day they send you the PDF for this, and then you get the physical copy, and you pay one price. So to me, it's a no-brainer. You pay one physical price, then you get the PDF sent to you. Just makes sense, is not gouging the public. Well, that's why you support that company. So that's the deal. Yeah, no, I know, Byron, I know. And of course, Doctor Who. So yes, I will be switching over to GOG in about a half hour, and I will be continuing my playthrough of Vaporum, which I'm very excited about because I've been having a lot of fun with that game. So, all right, that means that the time has come to close down, and the winner is Backburner. Backburner is the winner. Backburner has won a copy of the Lore Master's Guide. Longtime mod and viewer of this channel. So I will put a note and copy of Lore Masters. So congratulations, Backburner. To Backburner 8. Outstanding. Congratulations, Backburner. That is awesome, man. I will send you that. I will send that to you, later on tonight, probably after my second stream. So that's going to do it for me, guys. I am going to rise up on out of here. If you liked what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the stream. Please make sure to check out the Steam group with ! Steam group, the YouTube with ! ArvTube. Please make sure to check out the Discord, of course, which is always hopping with ! Discord. Please make sure as well to support the channel if you can by supporting the Patreon. You guys saw an inspiration, a really useful inspiration was given thanks to Dragonspear, and Dragonspear gets that because he supports the Patreon. So please consider supporting the Patreon. It helps the channel and also helps you individually. You can do cool individual stuff. Remember, you'll be able to inspire the players again on Saturday, so there's more inspirations coming down the line. And of course, we've got, last but certainly not least, the sub button, that purple button above the window. We've had a lot of people who have been subbing to the channel, which is great. You can use those Arvany hypes, those gold get hyped things brought to you by Kilobyte. And so those are awesome as well. So please consider supporting if you can there also. As for me, I'm going over to GOG for Pen and Pixels. It is Thanksgiving break for me, so I am not going to be going into school on Thursday. So I may do a stream on Thursday night and see if I can wrap up The Last Guardian and then be moving into West of Loathing. That is possible that I'll do something like that. On Saturday, we obviously have the continuation of the Infinity and Beyond crew. That campaign has really picked up a lot of steam. It's a high-level campaign, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. So if you want to check out stuff with dragons and more traditional Dungeons & Dragons, that is your place to go. And then the week after that, we will be doing the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. We'll be doing more Vaporum, and then we will be finishing up, if we haven't finished up with Last Guardian, and moving on to the next solo game, which will be West of Loathing. And then after that, of course, it'll be December, and we'll have a whole other schedule of things going on. One last thing I want to mention is that if anyone lives in New York City, I wanted to remind everybody that December 23rd, I actually have a gig with my band. I'll be playing an acoustic show with the two guitarists and myself down here in New York City at a club called the Delancey. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern on December 23rd. I'll talk much more about that when we get closer, but would love to have a good turnout for that. And it's the first time I played down here in the city in about 5 years. So it's going to be fun, and I want to make sure we get as good a turnout as we possibly can. But that's the deal with that. Oh, and Friday, I forgot to mention, this Friday is Masters of the Dungeon. So again, you'll get a chance to hear more of us there as well. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. The best viewers on Twitch. I want to thank everyone for making this an awesome stream. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Dragonspear, Kilobyte, and Backburner. Congratulations again, Burner, on the win. Thank you to my wonderful subs, Dragonspear, Kilobyte, Chaotix, and Echo Alpha X5. Thank you as well, Chaotix, for the update on Terry. Much love, Terry. Hope all is well and that you're getting squared away in the new place. Thank you to my wonderful regulars. Thank you to also, and thank you to all the Patreon supporters as well. Thank you to Big Boss, to Classicor, to Dagon Graves. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, Dagon Graves. I hope you like what you saw and heard and will follow the stream and support with subscription or Patreon if you can. Thank you so much to Deroin, to ECAG, Epidemic, Fender Saxby. Again, Fender, thank you so much for the help with the character sheets and everything with Roll20. Thank you. Thank you to Jagtris, to JLC. Thank you to Caro Hemmed, to Massive Death, Mizu Fluffy. Thank you to Pyron Jade, PKD Fan, Poltergeist Zero. Thank you to Poor Dead Man and Runkle Plays Games. I've seen Runkle Plays Games, but I don't know if I've seen Poor Dead Man. Again, I hope you like what you saw and heard and will consider supporting the channel further if you can. Thank you so much for tuning in. Same to S4 Bore. I hope you're able to support the channel if you can, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Shalom Salam as always, and thank you to Trendane. Great job out of Trendane as well. So thanks to my players, thank you to Cubicle 7, and thank you, of course, most of all, to all the viewers. Now, I'm going to, no raid today because I'm going to be going up to GOG in about 25 minutes. Right now, I'm going to stand up, take a break, and then get myself prepped for the stream in about 25. Thank you all so much. Love you all. You're the best viewers on Twitch, and I will catch all of you wonderful people at the top of the hour. Until then, be good to each other. Have a good night.